We're going to talk about all of this, plus your chats right here on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show, where we have expert trash talk and unrivaled analysis. But this sounds drastic, but I suppose you have to take drastic action when your head coach can't count to 11. I was almost ready to call it off. This is ridiculous.
Let's get into it. Let's talk football. That's going to make us both feel a lot better. And they've finally figured out a winning formula in the last three. Well, I mean, they've been winning the whole time. They just haven't been winning the championships that we won. I mean, Michigan was never a bad team except for maybe 2017 and 2020. Okay, this is really dumb. Why? Maybe it's not dumb. That at the end of this, the NCAA is going to have more egg on their face than Michigan is.
If you're between 19 and 23 years old and people are throwing millions of dollars at you, that's got to mess with your head.
That might be a pipe dream. That might be a pipe dream. I'm just thinking because
it might be, but it would be a lot of fun.
That would be sweet. How long has this segment gone on? Like 40 minutes?
Welcome to the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. This is how things go around here, and you know that because you've seen the show before. All 691 subscribers, by the way, thank you for that.
How many people are going to tune in for the Michigan-Ohio State game now, knowing that the loser of this game can still make the playoffs? I just heard the screams of all of my brain cells die.
We are now up to 907 subs.
Well, actually, hold up, maybe, because we're going to get to this. We'll get to this when we talk more about the spring game.
We have this tradition here that we ask all of our guests, of which you are the first. So it's not a long-standing tradition. All right, well, I do want to be respectful of time. I told Ted we do
We're having so much fun. We're having so much fun.
It's interesting because he said that the goal of the NCAA at this point is to just not get sued anymore.
Yeah, even after these last 3 years, we still represent hard. I mean, you got to rep your team, right? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But the problem was that they weren't pulling in, like, Ohio State level recruiting classes, and this is a huge concern. But then Harbaugh goes and wins a national championship with a bunch of 3 stars, a handful of 4 stars, and then a couple of 5 stars.
And he will announce the starting QB by the end of this week. The NCAA will have 90 days to respond.
Because, yeah, I mean, Michigan really couldn't throw the ball at all because Chop Robinson's pass rush was just insane. I mean, that guy was awesome. He was everywhere, and he was giving Carson Barnhart all sorts of issues, and that's actually why Sharon Moore pivoted in-game to running 30 bajillion some odd times in a row.
Between Tom Osborne and Solich, they had like 30 years of just destroying everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
And now it's legal? I'm sorry. Was Jim Harbaugh like the biggest college football revolutionary ever?
I'll tell you this. No one willingly lives in Ohio.
Yeah.
Case in point, Garrison here. My dear friend.
No comment.
Jim Harbaugh has just introduced a brand new era of college football. These guys are nerds! And they bullied you! What were you thinking?
Kalen DeBoer, in order to keep up with Nick Saban, all DeBoer has to do is win 6 national championships in 17 years to match Nick Saban.
Thank you.
Beautiful, man.
It was very nice.
I
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
I could tell you wrote with, like, from the heart. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
it really meant something to you, and I can appreciate that.
I really appreciate you appreciating how much I appreciate this because it meant a lot to me. It was.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
They have a shutout every season. That's nothing. Stop. Move on.
I'm trying to be positive here. I'm trying to give the Hawkeyes some hope.
Lecture. Judges don't give lectures. Judges
Will you just
give
say
judgment.
something for crying out
Right.
loud? That is a bad night for Georgia, but good news for Michigan. The only team Michigan has lost to is now number 1 in the country.
All of Georgia's players are in prison.
Do you think that Notre Dame Purdue is going to be kind of like Arkansas Oklahoma State, where like nobody's trying to win in the second half?
That was awesome. Man, I wish I had half the amount of knowledge that all those guys have.
Mac, take us out.
This is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Good night, everybody, and thanks for joining with us. Joining us. Not with us. We're already here.
A good job by J.J. McCarthy. The handoff. Alec Menace is going to throw a pick. They give it to Corum. Up back. Corum. Touchdown, Wolverine. Ruben Wilson does it again. Wall finds some daylight. He's got some speed and some blocker. Outside. Turns the corner. Blake Corum down the sideline. Looking over the middle. Caught. Touchdown, Wolverine. McCarthy extends the play, now using legs. McCarthy a first down.
Ooh, all right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what just happened?
What do you mean what just happened? We started the show.
I had like two different versions playing like just a second off. So I heard like the intro that we have.
Yeah.
It played twice. I heard it like 1 second earlier in this earphone and then, later in this earphone.
Oh, that's weird. I don't know.
I was about to message you and be like, dude, what are you doing?
I don't know what's happening. Hey, anybody out in the chat, if the audio sounds weird, if you're getting some duplication, let me know. We'll see if we can figure it out. We probably can't, but let us know anyway. We're not usually good with that stuff.
Oh.
All right, football fans, practice is over. Big Ten play has started. We are headed into week 5 of college football, and it is Big Ten all the time. The Big Ten Brady Bunch is back, although we've got a little bit of a smaller group tonight so far. We're going to see if anybody else shows up. Calling games and taking names. Maybe that doesn't make any sense. But we are here, right here on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show, expert trash talk and unrivaled analysis. I'm your host, Cliff. With me, as always, is Mac. Mac, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I am pleasantly surprised with the outcome of Saturday's game.
Sure, yeah.
And I have a whole new optimism for the season. So I'm good. I'm feeling good.
I know. It was pretty exciting. Well, it was exciting at the end.
Well, it was exciting at the beginning, too.
Oh, sure.
There's like the third quarter and then most of the fourth quarter that was like, no, please.
We'll get into that, man. Jeez.
Put me out of my misery.
Slow down.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
Just saying.
We have our Pigskin Showdown tonight. Just to make an announcement, we have a members-only live stream coming up on Wednesday night. Should I say who's going to be on it, or should I leave that as a surprise?
Leave it as a surprise, but also we're live streaming it?
Yeah, well, for members. We're live streaming it for members.
Oh, I thought we were recording it.
So people can chat and ask our guest questions. We're having a guest on who has been on the show before, but you haven't seen him in a while, but he knows his stuff, and you'll want to be there to ask him questions. Wednesday night, 8 p.m., that would be the 25th, right here on this channel, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get to ask questions of the guest. Keep an eye out for the thumbnail. If you're not a member, what are you waiting for? If you're a member between now and Wednesday, then you'll be able to ask questions of our guest. It's all very exciting. We're very exciting. We're still trying to figure out this whole membership thing, so we're trying to throw everything out there that we can for you. The guy we're having on, you don't normally see on our show, so and he doesn't normally do live streams, so this is an opportunity to ask some questions, and I think it'll be pretty cool. Before we get into the Pigskin Showdown, we do have the check down where we bring you the most interesting stats of the weekend. According to me, Mac, feel free to comment at will. Are you ready?
Yeah, obviously.
All right. Big Ten shutouts stand at 9 now. Penn State shut down Kent State with authority over the weekend. Kent State is now 0-4 on the season, of course, and one of the two teams in the MAC that hasn't won a single game. The other team is Miami of Ohio. The MAC struggles as usual. Not you, MAC. The MAC.
I'm not struggling.
You're not
struggling. I am living my best life. Western Michigan had a bye week, which means we did not lose. So I'm happy.
All right.
I think Western had a bye week. I should probably check that, actually.
You probably should before you go saying some team has a bye week. That's crazy talk. You could get people hurt.
Crazy. Yeah.
Indiana continues to storm the castle. After 4 games, they have racked up 4 wins and 202 points.
Whew.
Little trivia.
Rank them, you cowards.
That's what Rocky ranked Wade in at in Rocky 3. when he played or when he fought. What was it? Hulk
Rocky
Hogan.
III.
What was his name in the movie? The Ultimate Male. It's a fantastic scene. Rocky wrestles Hulk Hogan. Or I'm sorry, Rocky boxes Hulk Hogan wrestles. It's a great scene. At any rate, 202 points, 4 games. That's 50.5 point average per game, folks. Last year, after 4 games, Indiana was 2-2 with 87 points. Indiana currently leads the Big Ten in points scored. When's the last time you got to say that? Never?
I don't know. I mean, people that Ohio State played, man, it's crazy talk.
I know, it's wild.
Yeah.
All right, if you saw couches burning in East Lansing Saturday, don't panic. It's because Michigan State lost to Boston College. Although, honestly, it doesn't matter if they win or lose. Spartans will burn couches. Nobody knows why. Ohio State treated Marshall to a beatdown in the shoe. This wraps up the Ohio State practice schedule. An interesting side note, Ohio State has allowed just 20 points in 3 games this year. The exact same number of points they allowed in the first 3 games last year, but last year those 20 points cost $20 million less.
That was pretty good. That was a good one.
Nice
one there. Yeah.
All right. Michigan refuses to quit. The game against USC was an emotional roller coaster. Michigan fans were a bit nervous when the game started. We gradually got more excited through the first half. Took it easy during halftime because they're up 14-3.
What's the worst that could happen?
By the end of the third quarter, some of us were demanding Sharon Moore be fired. By mid-fourth quarter, we were giving up on the season. And then at the end of the game, we partied like it was 2023. After defeating USC by a mere 3 points, Michigan returns to the top 12 in the AP and is once again in playoff contention for now.
Is there a softer fan base than USC on Twitter? I mean, I've talked to a bunch of fans and they all seem really cool, but there is a heavy contingent of Trojan fans on Twitter who will not shut up about the officiating.
I know.
Like, I get it. There were some missed calls. There were missed calls everywhere. There were missed calls all over the country on Saturday. Just stop.
I know. It's bad. I mean, Michigan had some bad calls in those first 3 games, I think. But
yeah,
it's like we've always said, there's 3 teams on the field, the home team, the away team, and the refs. And you got to beat 2 of them.
Yeah.
The best stat of the week, you're going to love this. Will Johnson, junior defensive back at Michigan, now holds a Michigan Wolverine all-time record. You ready for this? The most pick sixes in Michigan football history.
Wow.
With
all right.
3.
That's it?
He has 3 career pick sixes, and he now holds the record for pick sixes. He's in his 3rd year at Michigan, so there's no telling how far he'll go in the next 4 or 5 years at Michigan.
What?
Because you could be a 7th-year senior now.
Well,
you can play football. You can play college football for a long time now. It's crazy.
That was a COVID thing.
You can retire. It's a COVID. It's a red shirt, and there's also the misinformation from the office that gives you your school schedule.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you're right.
All right. This has been the Check Down. If you like what you've seen so far, don't forget to smash the like button. And as long as you're there, slide a little bit to the left and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed already. We are getting really close to our 1,000 subs. We are now at 944. So what is that? Like 80 more to go? 20? Something like that? 56. Yeah, there we go. 56 more to go, and we are monetized.
Let's get them all tonight. Let's go. The 10 people who are watching right now, all of you, subscribe and create 5 more accounts.
You know what I forgot to do, though? I forgot to put up the thing there, but now we're on Judge Mac. Mac, are you ready to judge anything, or has it been that kind of day?
Oh my gosh. I will judge something.
Judge it. If only Keegan were out there, he could tell us. All rise. Are you ready? You want to do this now?
Yes, let's do this now.
Okay, here we go. We now turn to Judge Mac for his latest opinion and judgment on the world of college football. Please rise in unison.
Thank you. First off, Nathan Seibold has given us our 945th subscriber. So my judgment here forthwith is that Nathan is awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nathan.
I hereby judge you as awesome. So thank you. Here's my judgment for the week, okay? USC's back, guys. USC is back. And by back, I mean not quite back, but like kind of good now. And like losing to Michigan is kind of an interesting thing now, apparently, because I've heard a lot of pundits say things like, you come out of the Michigan game and I actually feel better about USC. Okay, that must mean we should feel great about Michigan, right? But apparently not. Apparently Michigan's still got a ton of problems. And yeah, they kind of do. They don't have a passing game. But how many games did they win last year by saying, yeah, you know what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball and you're not going to be able to stop it. So why are we still talking about this? I mean, we always knew the whole time that Michigan was going to have a problem passing the ball. That's fine. Why do we all of a sudden feel that much better about USC though? And Michigan's just like, yeah, whatever. Michigan's right back on the CFP train, man. We can still make it. But whatever. That's actually not where my judgment is. My judgment is this. I alluded to it a second ago. USC Trojan fans are all over Twitter complaining about the officiating. My friends, welcome to the Big Ten. And that's it. That's my judgment.
That's your judgment. All right. You may all be seated. If you like Judge Mac's judgment, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a chat, leave a comment, do all the things. Now it is time. Are you ready?
It is time. Let's do it.
I love that a little bit. All right. We are now into week 5 of the Pigskin Showdown. And we have our Big Ten Brady Bunch with us. And we're going to bring them on right now. And it looks like we've got one extra here. So that is cool. First, let's go over to Justin. We have Justin Adams from let's see. You have the Big Ten Show and the Nebraska Husker Voice of College Football Show. But you tell us, Justin, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Coming off the difficult loss, the tough loss, but like I told you before, I've kind of found acceptance and solace in it. Illinois is a good team. But yeah, if you want to find me over, even my channel's the Big Ten Show. We actually did a live watch party. So if y'all want to go back and watch that, it's pretty funny. It was an Illinois fan and Nebraska fan. So you can see my reactions. And then Nebraska football at the Voice of College Football. And if you're a Penn State fan, I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central. If y'all want to, do any inside look at what Illinois brings defensively, I'll be doing a full film review on their defense versus Nebraska's offense. So if y'all want to tune into that, just go ahead.
Yeah, I was there for your last one. I especially enjoyed the happy dances and also your dog doing the happy dance.
Hey, he joined in on it. It was a great time. It was a great to the end. I had a lot of fun to the very end.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Appreciate you stopping by though.
Oh, no problem. That was a good show. You did a great job on that.
Thanks, man.
All right, now we're going to bring on Pete. Oh, we lost Mac. Pete, we'll get back to Mac. How you doing, Pete?
Oh no, where'd Mac go? Hey, I'm doing well. Really glad the Big Ten play is finally upon the Buckeyes. We can move past the snooze fest that was the non-con and get into the meat of the schedule and get into these tough games coming up. The Spartans on the road, first away game, and excited for that one for sure. But yeah, you can find Rob and I over on Buckeyes Battle Cry. We do live streams every Thursday night at 8:30 and a couple videos splashed here throughout the week here and there. And we just like to have fun on the channel and talk a little smack and talk a little bit in depth about the Big Ten and, of course, the national landscape and the big games. Some big ones coming up this weekend. We'll be discussing that in the live. Georgia-Bama coming up on Thursday night. So join us, and you'll be sure to have a good time.
Yeah, also a great live stream from you guys. I enjoyed that one too.
Appreciate it.
Next, we're going to go to Garrison. Garrison, how's it going over there?
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little tired. Got back, got from work, came straight home, recorded with Bryce, and towards the end, Bryce goes, "Wait, don't you have to go on Cliff and Mac show?" I'm like, "Yep." So here I am. But
oh, Bryce is supposed to be here too. What's he doing? Man?
Yeah, no, Family Guy. Yep, Family Guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point, by the way, I might cut my camera to go grab my food that I ordered. So
Brother's gotta eat.
dude,
right.
man, I am starving. But no, you can find us at Scarlet Blue Show on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Myself, Buckeye_Gaddy. That is Daddy with a G. And then Bryce, you can find at Bryce R. Sack. That's always fun to say.
I know it's a wild. That's his X account. It's pretty cool. All right, Mac is back. I guess I'll bring him on now. Mac, what's going on over there?
I don't know. I think somebody tried to access the internet back out there, in the living room, and we're still on dial-up, so I had to go chew her out for a little bit, and it's a whole mess.
It's like you got a party line internet over there.
Yeah, kind of.
Only one person can use it at a time. So, Mac, where can everybody find you?
Here. I'm normally right here. Why am I below Justin? This is our show.
You left and came back.
That's right. I'm the one who kicked you out of here. I'm taking over.
Fair. No, I get it. He's better talent. I mean, how many subs do you think you can bring the channel? I will let you have my spot.
There we go.
Hey,
put you between two Buckeyes.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
This would be a great plane ride.
Also,
all right. Oh, go ahead. What?
Well, I was gonna say, Garrison, it's all good. You can go eat, man. We don't need your opinions here.
Oh no! Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, by the way, congrats to you two. That was a good win last on Saturday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, if you want, I'm mad at you, Justin. You guys ruined a undefeated matchup with you guys of the century, dude. That game would have fed families, and you guys ruined it.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute. I got to do this. Justin, what was the score of the game?
Heck yeah.
27-24 Michigan.
And what did you call on this very show?
27-24 Michigan.
Yes, he did.
Boom.
I thought of that immediately after the score. Respect to Justin.
I got you. And it went exactly kind of like how I thought it would go in terms of what I said with the game plan. I mean, they did exactly what they needed to do with Orgy, and then turns out USC may not have been as good as we thought because of that LSU game.
Nah, that was just one second. I told Bryce this on the show, and he kind of agreed. He actually agreed with me on this. The way you guys won that game, especially at the tail end, because you had 9 yards in the second half before that drive, was Dr. Strange doing that.
Big Ten football. You wear them down. And you
guys had. There was one way out of a billion that game could have been won by you guys, and you guys did it. But 32. 32.
I know this is difficult for a Buckeye to understand, but it is actually possible to have an O-line that is good. And when you have an O-line that's good, you can run the ball more than you have to throw it.
We're second in the nation in rush yards per game.
Against who? Marshall, Akron, Western Michigan. Bite me.
Hey, I told you to stop disrespecting that Akron game. How many times I got to tell you about that?
I threw my own alma mater under the bus to make that point too.
Well, and remember too, Indiana leads the Big Ten in points right now. So
yeah,
they're not physical enough.
They're not physical. No. But Kurt Signetti said Michigan sucks. He said Ohio State sucks, and he said Purdue sucks. So I kind of like him for that.
1 out of 3 ain't bad, I guess.
Yeah.
And every Nebraska fan owes me $5. Every single one of you owe me $5 for that game.
Every Nebraska defensive player owes you $5. They owe me too.
All right, guys, are you ready to talk some football?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We have Iowa and Northwestern are on bye weeks this week, but it's all right because we weren't going to talk about them anyway. We're going to go straight to Oregon at UCLA. I guess this is a game where they get to kind of go home rather than playing all these teams out on the East. But Oregon is currently ranked number 10. They are 3-0. UCLA is not ranked. They are 1-2, not doing well this year at all. Oregon has wins against Idaho, Boise State, Oregon State. UCLA has a win barely against Hawaii. They have an 11.1% chance to beat the Oregon Ducks.
Surprisingly
game-
high.
Yeah, this one could be painful. Let's and we lost Mac again. Matt
think the
can't take
world's
it.
trying to
You
tell
guys
us
want to talk
something.
about Oregon?
Wifey sabotaging the stream.
Garrison, let's start with you. We have this has all the makings of a disastrous beatdown for you, UCLA. But my question for you guys is: not only do I want to know what you think about the game, what your score pick is, but is this a trap game for Oregon? Oh, are you still there?
Who's starting?
Question.
Garrison.
No. Oh no. What?
Oh, Garrison. You know what, Garrison? Hold that thought. We're going to come back to you. Your internet's breaking up too.
Oh.
Well, now I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Am I good now, guys?
You
Him
are
and
breaking
Mac-
up a little bit
Him
though.
and Mac are on the same internet connection apparently.
Oh man,
could
what
be.
happened? Well,
I don't
if
know.
you can't
Let's
hear me,
Tell you what. Hold. Oh, now you're
I'm gonna
coming
back
through.
out.
All right, we'll get back to you.
Fair enough.
Okay, Pete, let's go over to you then. What do you got? Same
Sure.
questions that, is this a trap game? What's your pick? What's your what are you looking at for this game?
This is definitely not a trap game. The Bruins are taking place at the bottom of the conference. They're taking their spot and they're holding on to it, and they will hold on to it for multiple years to come, unfortunately. I do not have much confidence in their coach. The Bruins have not been able to establish the run game yet. Oregon clearly has. Dylan Gabriel has just come out blazing. He's got almost 1,000 yards passing already on the season. 6 touchdowns, hasn't turned the ball over yet. Dude is taking care of the football, making plays. James, the tailback, he's got 283 yards rushing, and the Oregon offensive front is really not finishing drives too well, although they started to against Oregon State 2 weeks ago. But this quarterback matchup is no comparison, and the Ducks are going to roll. I have them taking this one pretty easily, 49-10. Oregon cruises to a victory, and I don't have UCLA winning a single Big Ten game this season.
Wow, yeah, it's not looking good for UCLA. I think. Well, they've got Deshaun Foster kind of had to fall into that role pretty quickly, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I mean, when Kelly came to Ohio State, they scrambled a little bit and promoted from within, and yeah, it was a big step up for Foster. And if his Big Ten Media Days press conference was any guarantee, he is not quite ready for the bright lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Garrison, let's go back to you. What do you got?
Yeah. So this game is at UCLA, correct?
Yes.
All right. So UCLA, I just saw this. They're for the season, they're giving up just under 30 points per game, but at home they give up 42 per game. Oregon's gonna roll. UCLA is not good. I think you're gonna see a lot of what you saw from the Pac, like during the Pac-12 season. Oregon is gonna run through a lot of teams also this season in the Big Ten. I know a lot of people may not think that. Some people may think they're not physical enough. No, but they have the Jimmies and Joes. And you're gonna see it. I think you're gonna see it this week. It's gonna be a bludgeoning.
What do you think a score?
Give me 45 to 10.
45 to 10. Now, what if this turns out to be another one where, what was it? We all picked like Oregon over, who was it? It was like everybody was saying like 57 or 60, and it turned out to be a really tight game.
Yeah.
Who
I
was
can't remember
that?
which one that was. Hold on. I've got it here. Let's see. We had Idaho.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the Idaho game or the Boise State game?
Oh, yeah. Trash
Yeah.
Idaho. They held their own.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if I count that. I mean, I think it was pretty much a general consensus that they should have blew them out. Ohio State, we kind of did the same thing last week. I mean, Ohio State still blew them out. Ohio State still blew them out, but I said 63-0. I was a little crazy.
No, well, I was wrong. I didn't think they
I was
gave
a
up a
little- I was a
touchdown
little-
in the first two games.
I was a little crazy.
Yeah.
Anybody else in the chat who has a pick for the Oregon UCLA game, go ahead and drop it in the chat, and I'll put it up. Justin, let's go over to you. What do you got for this game? Trap game, score, that kind of thing?
Not a trap game. Not at all. I was looking through the PFF grades for Oregon's line, and last week they took the huge jump. So left tackle, 86.7 grade. Marcus Harper, the right guard, 79.1. Yashad Strother, 79. Laululu, I don't know how to say his name, 77.4. Cornelius, 74.8. Across the board, they have gotten better each and every week. This was the biggest jump yet. I think that continues. You look at what UCLA did against LSU. Well, LSU is giving up the 4th most pass yards per play, 76th in total defense. UCLA is 114th in defensive passing efficiency. This is going to be Oregon's 9th in offensive passing efficiency. Yeah. This is going to be rough. I'm going to say 52-10. I'll maybe give them 10, 52-10.
We're all kind of similar there.
Yeah. It's going to be a long day for UCLA.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
All right, Mac, you feel like working tonight, or what do you got?
My computer, I guess, just doesn't really like to be connected to the internet. You spend $900 on a laptop, you think that the least it could do is connect to the internet, but no, apparently not.
Kind of like wishing your quarterback could throw a ball too, huh?
Should have spent $1,000.
Should have, yeah.
Fun fact: when you don't need the quarterback to throw the ball.
Hey, I saw Miller Moss through.
You don't need him to throw it yet.
Yeah.
I saw Miller Moss throw one in the dirt on purpose, or not on purpose. He threw one in the dirt.
Not on purpose. He did it on purpose. It might have been a strategic decision.
If that was Patrick Mahomes, he would get on ESPN's top 10 for throwing in the dirt. They called it.
That's
great
absolutely
I'm just saying.
true.
Patrick Mahomes is catching strays. I don't like him. Sorry. Anyways, I digress.
All right, Mac, what's your pick? Oregon over UCLA. Is this a trap game? What's your score?
It's not a trap game.
In this game?
I just feel like if your introduction to the Big Ten is losing to Indiana 42-13, probably things aren't going to go well for you. I feel like that wasn't even just like, oh, Indiana happens to be good this year and UCLA is on a down year. No, that was the type of game that like puts a curse over your program for years. And like when people start talking about like why doesn't UCLA do well in the Big Ten, they're going to look back at that Indiana game and be like, they haven't broken the Hoosier curse yet. And that's really what they need to do is break the Hoosier curse. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Oregon. It's going to be Oregon probably something like 56-7. I mean, man, the problems with UCLA this year are just kind of crazy. And I feel like it stems from, I mean, I think there was a lot of roster turnover, but I still just can't get past the fact that they upgraded or promoted their running back coach, I think it was, straight to head coach. And I don't think that was the best idea. I mean, and he's probably a great guy too. He's probably really good with running backs, but man, I don't think that was a good move. I think UCLA is going to have a long season because they got number 9 Penn State right after that too.
What are you thinking for a score?
56-7.
56.
Well, you would think Deshaun Foster being going from running back coach to head coach, they'd have some good running backs, but their leading rusher on the season has a total of 72 yards so far.
Oh, jeez.
You would think that your UCLA, you have the money. Like, you can go find somebody to coach in LA.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're USC in the middle of not the greatest place to be. Like, UCLA is a nice campus, a great institution. You would think that you could get somebody, but
isn't the USC stadium and the UCLA stadium like virtually across the street from each other?
Yeah, but USC's in the hood.
Oh,
nobody.
It's across the street.
It's the other side of the train tracks.
Like, dude, like they're down the street. It's like Grosse Pointe in Detroit.
Nobody shows up to either.
Yeah. That is true.
All right. Our next game, we have Wisconsin at USC, and I'm curious as to how closely Wisconsin players were watching the Michigan USC game. Wisconsin not doing as well as they had hoped this year, although they are 2-1. USC is now 2-1. My question is, will USC have finished licking its wounds by the time they play Wisconsin? Because they had a lot of injuries in that game. We've got, let's see. So far, Wisconsin has beaten Western Michigan and South Dakota, but they lost to Alabama by 32 points. USC has beaten LSU and Utah State, but fell to Michigan. So let's see. Justin, let's go over to you. What do you have, pick, and what do you think you're going to see in this game?
Yeah. So with USC, I don't think I think they're going to come out and try to make an example of Wisconsin. I think partially, I think Wisconsin is going to, right there. That's true.
Yeah.
I think Wisconsin is going to try their best to slow this game down as much as possible if they can. I think just USC. I think Miller Moss is going to be too much. Miller Moss made some incredible throws. He looked, really good whenever he had flashes, right? And his flashes are excellent. So when he goes against the team and he gets into a rhythm, which I think he will do against Wisconsin, I think that USC offense is going to roll, and that takes a lot of pressure off the defense as well. So what's the spread on this one? It's like 14. I can't remember what it was.
I'll find it.
14.5.
It's 14.5.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, hit the hammer the over.
Yeah, I'm taking USC to cover that though. I'm gonna say it's 14. If I give a score prediction here, I'd probably say 41 to 17.
41-17. All right.
Yeah.
Let's swing around to Pete. Pete, what do you got?
Man, well, I'll spoil it too. I got the exact same score as Justin, 41-17. Nice. I mean, Wisconsin has 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and it will not matter at all.
Nope.
When they lost Tyler Van Dyke for the season, their season unfortunately went with him. And, they went to the portal for a reason. They didn't have anybody else. And when Braden Locke came in, respect to him, he played somewhat well. He made some okay throws in there in a tough spot, in a tough situation, a game he wasn't expecting to play in at all. But this could get really ugly for the Badgers. I mean, they have great pride as a program. Fickle is a great leader as a coach. But this season could be really rough for them now with Van Dyke gone. I think Miller Moss has a bounce-back game. Like Justin said, he can make just about every throw, and he's very impressive to me as a quarterback. But the Badger defense is just not going to be able to hold up. I mean, you saw how Alabama attacked them 2 weeks ago, and I think USC is going to try and do similar things to them. Obviously, Moss doesn't have the legs that Milroe does, of course, but I think they're going to attack the secondary without caution. They're going to go for it. And I mean, if they threw 51 passes versus the Wolverines, shoot, I mean, they might even put more up than that in the air against the Badgers, and it's going to get ugly. But like I said, 41-17, the LA Coliseum will be empty, and nobody will be watching this game live in person. But the Trojans bounce back and get a win after a confounding loss in Ann Arbor. But respect to the Wolverines for finding a way somehow, some way. They did it.
Are they not as committed out there? Do they not go to these games even if they're not?
Oh man, it's fair weather out there. It's fair weather for sure.
California, it's California fandom.
There's much to do. There's much to do.
I lived in San Diego for 4 years. There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lived in LA for 6 months. I couldn't wait to get out.
I visited there one time and never went back.
No, man, you gotta go to San Diego.
Same.
You gotta go to San Diego. It's the best city in that city.
Where's the corn at?
I've been to Dana. I've been to Dana Point. It was beautiful there. But that's outside of LA. It's the only place I've ever been to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I never made it to San Diego. I got down to Huntington Beach. Actually, we went to Huntington. So I lived in Long Beach, and we went to Huntington Beach for July 4th. And when we got back to our apartment in Long Beach, I was watching the news, and they were talking about how the riots weren't as bad in Huntington Beach that year as they were the previous year. And my wife and I are looking at each other like, what did we just escape? What happened?
Yeah, I try to avoid most of California. I'm a Texas boy, so we stay away from California.
Oh yeah. Everyone from California moving to Texas.
That's true. Yeah, get out though. I'm tired of it.
All right, Garrison. Same to you. Wisconsin, you over USC. Or Wisconsin at USC.
They're gonna dog walk them. They're gonna dog walk them. I mean, because here's the thing. Bryce and I talked about it on the show earlier. Go check it out after you watch. Team Robbery, of course. But I thought USC proved that they were tough. That's what I got out of that. I thought for them to for most teams to go down 14-0 to Michigan, my God, that means you are done. You're done for the count. You're done. If you're done, double digits to Michigan, they're gonna run that clock out. They're gonna vice grip you with that defense, and it's a wrap. They got the lead back.
Yep.
Miller Moss. I mean, I couldn't imagine that playing right back after the way he got hit. I mean, he was on. I think Bryce said he was on the ground for 50% of the game. Like that's
hit repeatedly. Yeah,
that's crazy. So, I think they licked their wounds, man. And I don't think Wisconsin can score 17 points on them.
Okay.
This isn't Barry Alvarez
Garbage
coaching.
time, maybe.
This isn't Brett Bielema calling plays. They are throwing that ball around and doing it as quickly as possible. And it doesn't look like they can. I mean, can they run the ball like Michigan did? This Wisconsin? No. So no, they get wrapped up pretty easily.
You got a score for it?
45-7.
All right. All right, Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, USC.
Take your time.
Take your time. Yeah.
I feel like I mean, I said this on Twitter after the game. I think two things can be true at once. Beating USC was a really big deal for Michigan. But USC might even actually still be kind of overrated, just based on how they played LSU, except they're also kind of not because of how they came back against Michigan. So I feel like the pieces are there. I feel like the talent is there. The toughness is quite obviously there because, I mean, watching them last year, I mean, that defense was Swiss cheese, and I don't like Swiss cheese. So obviously I didn't like their defense. I mean, it was awful. They couldn't wrap up. They coverage was blown. There were missed assignments all over the place. But this year, I mean, like Garrison said, you go down 14-3 against Michigan. I don't care how bad Michigan's offense is. They're still, I mean, defensively speaking, they're still really good. And to be able to come back, that's toughness right there. I mean, USC got up off the mat and punched right back. And then, huge credit to Michigan for being down that late in the game. Nothing's working up to that point. And Kalel Mullings is just like, all right, screw it. I'm calling game. And that's the only reason USC loses is because Kalel Mullings just went beast mode on everybody and carried basically both football teams on his back to the end zone. So, yeah, I completely understand when people say that, USC lost and that sucks, but you actually kind of come out of this game feeling better about the trajectory of that program. And I think that's absolutely true. I think that they're far tougher than they were. I think that when it comes to Wisconsin is just in wounded animal mode right now. Tyler Van Dyke being out. Yeah, they've got a good running back, but I think their offensive line's not going to be able to open up any holes for them. I think that Miller Moss is going to be shredding that defense to pieces. And I mean, I expect this to get out of hand early. I'm going to say the final, though, is probably somewhere around like a 45-10 situation. And I think USC, if they're really locked in, could drop a 50-burger. I just think that they won't because I think that the backups will be in somewhere in the middle of the third quarter.
So we got 45-10, 41-17, 45-7, 41-17. Everybody's seeing it the same way. I guess a follow-up question there. How long do you guys think until Luke Fickell has Wisconsin looking like Cincinnati, or does that not even happen?
It's hard to say right now with how this has gone so far.
Yeah.
You got to, I feel like we got to see an upswing to kind of see, kind of be able to gauge that. Cause right now it just seems like they're still kind of on that downward slope waiting to hit the bottom.
Yeah.
I think I said on here a few weeks ago, I don't think Luke Fickell is a big time college football coach. I think he's a Cincinnati type of coach.
I love Luke
Okay.
Fickell, but
I love him too.
I agree. Like, well, you may be right. I'm not going to say I agree just yet. You may be right, but I think I still want to give him time.
Yeah,
Garrison and I are kind of in lockstep with that thought. I think I said it too. Is like you might be just tapping out at that mid level teams, but you know, when he's not able to get into Ohio and all the schools that he's been able to recruit for his entire coaching career so far, because Kentucky's taking him, MSU's taking him, Michigan's starting to jump back into the Ohio pool for the first time in a while, and then of course Ohio State's cleaning up in the state. He's kind of locked out of the state of Ohio now, and I think it's showing. It's really struggling. He does not have the connections, and Wisconsin is not a talent-loaded state. Never has been, never will be, except for offensive linemen. Those big cow farmers, they know what they're doing. But outside of that, I mean, I think there's a talent cap that he's trying to break through, and I don't know. I just don't see it. I personally, you know, a lot of people were thinking maybe if Ryan Day doesn't work out down the road, maybe Luke Fickell will come to Ohio State, and I don't see that as a possibility ever really again. He had his 1 year, and I don't think he'll get another chance. But I love the man. He gave his heart and soul to Ohio State for like 25 years, and so I respect him and salute him, and I hope he does turn around. I just don't think he will.
Oh yeah.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
What do y'all think Wisconsin's ceiling is under Fickell in terms of wins?
That's good.
Would y'all say it's kind of like an 8-9 win type of thing?
Yeah, I feel like it's
9
7
wins.
or 8.
9 wins.
Do you think that's acceptable for Wisconsin? I mean,
No.
Well, I mean,
no.
Wisconsin. I mean, in the last 20 years, would you say Wisconsin is a top 4 Big Ten program?
I'd put
Top
top
how many?
15.
Yeah, I mean they're a top 15 program, top 4 in the
Yeah.
Big Ten. I think they should aspire to have more, but I think that Luke tries something there that's not going to work.
yeah.
And they're one of the few programs that does something consistently. And they do it. They've done it, and it's tested time.
Recruit running backs.
Yeah.
Get
Yep.
running backs, man. And if you're lucky, you find a Russell Wilson.
Sure.
Yep.
But that's
Well-
actually like that to me says that he's like more of a tactician. I mean, how do you do well at Cincinnati? You get halfway decent talent. You know, maybe you pick up the 3 stars that all of the other teams didn't want, and you tell them like, look, they didn't think that you're good enough. Now go out there and prove that you are. And then he's also a good tactician, so he knows how to use them. Now, what happens then if that type of coach comes to Ohio State and Ohio State's like, look, we'll give you all the talent you need. Be a tactician. I mean, because the problem is that he's not a recruiter. But what if he goes somewhere where recruiting is just handed to him on a silver platter like it is at Ohio State?
I don't think but nowadays I don't think recruiting's handed to anybody just with the NIL, because you have to really recruit these guys hard, because there's so many factors into it. And if somebody can outpay you or is willing to outpay on a guy, let's say it's not your top guy and they're willing to outpay, then it comes down to your recruiting ability. What can you sell the vision that they want?
Yeah.
With Michael Terry, for instance, like we're in a recruiting battle. Texas can pay him the most money, but we're going to use him in a way he wants to be used in the offensive system, et cetera. So I do think there's a level of recruiting there that still needs to be there for sure.
Yeah, I've told people, like, if you think money is the deciding factor for most of these kids, it's not. Like, of course, it's playing a part, but I mean, at the end of the day, is your coach likable?
Yeah.
Like I mean, would you want to go up and grab a beer with them? Things like that. Like,
can he develop you into an NFL
yeah.
talent? Yeah.
Like, I mean, like you look at Ohio State, we can walk in. And honestly, it's from almost any position. We can walk into anyone's room and talk with the best of them. And so they're able to recruit like that. If you go to Iowa, they can walk into any tight end, any lineman, linebacker. They can walk in that room and say, "Hey," especially if you're a Caucasian defensive back, they will grab you.
That's like the Rams with white wide receivers.
Man, those boys are special over in Iowa, man.
Yeah,
what?
yeah. But I guess that's what I mean though, is like, so okay, maybe maybe in today's world, recruiting's not handed to you on a silver platter. But if you're talking about a bidding war, like Ohio State can win most of the bidding wars that they get into. And if you're talking about going into, somebody's room and trying to sell the vision of Ohio State, maybe Luke Fickell isn't the literal guy himself who goes into a recruit's home and sells the vision. Maybe it's Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline's a phenomenal recruiter, if I understand correctly.
He would be the coach before Fickell.
Yeah.
Okay.
He would be the coach before Fickell.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, there you go. But I guess my point is still that, okay, take Brian Hartline out of the picture then. Say you've got a recruiter who can perform that job well. If Luke Fickell goes to Ohio State as a tactician, but the recruits are handed to him.
I saw it in 2011, Mac. I saw it in 2011
I mean, can you hold that against him?
Another thing that Ohio State does, though, another thing that people don't realize Ohio State does better than anybody in the country and has for a while is develop players. I mean, they're not all 5 stars. You get 3 or 4 stars in there that they turn into 5-star level talent as well. I think that flies under the radar a lot with these top teams, but you don't get to where Ohio State, Alabama, those teams are without not only bringing those guys in, but developing them well as well.
Yeah.
Before we move on, fun fact: Ohio State has the highest percentage of 3 stars drafted in the NFL.
Here we go.
Highest percentage.
Come on. I can name a bunch, but I won't. But to answer the original question from Justin, just want to touch on it real quick. I mean, pre-Alvarez, Wisconsin was at Northwestern levels. Like, they were that bad. And they've gotten used to 10-win seasons, winning bowl games, playing in meaningful bowl games, and at least appearing in the Big Ten championship. Not too many wins in that thing, but yeah, the standard is not good enough right now. And 8-9 is my cap for Luke Fickell, and I think they panicked a little bit when Chris was on that downward trajectory with recruiting and with the where the program was headed, and they wanted to modernize. And Luke Fickell was going to do that, and I think that was a panic button decision. I still think Luke is a great coach, but I just think he's got a cap for what he can do and achieve at the college football level.
Here's my question, though: what is Brett Bielema doing at Illinois that Luke Fickell is not able to do at Wisconsin?
He's a better football
coach and execute, and
all right.
Yeah, they Illinois executed very well. Ready.
Okay. Brett Bielema's a really good football coach.
Super physical.
Really is.
Okay. But I mean, I guess I say that because I'm looking at their recruiting rankings, and Illinois' 2024 recruiting ranking 45th, 25 so far is in the 60s, but Wisconsin's up in the 20s. So Wisconsin's got the better players, but Luke Fickell just can't use them.
I'll say it this way: when Nebraska had Scott Frost, they had the 4th most talent off of the bus every single week, and it didn't matter.
And it didn't matter. All right, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Classes were nice there.
Yep.
So 2020 notwithstanding, so Mac 77 here is saying that Wisconsin is used to a 10-win season. And this is why it gets frustrating when you have a good team that just falls off, because you're thinking of the glory days. In 23, they went 7-5. 22, they went 7-6. 21, they went 9-4. 2020, they went 4-3. But that was, a truncated season anyway. They haven't had a 10-win season since 2019.
And the reason I asked the question is 8 or 9 enough because when Bo Pelini, when he got fired from Nebraska, it was because 8, 9, 10 wins wasn't enough. He couldn't beat the big teams. Now we realize that was a dumb decision. So I was curious if that's the same feel around Wisconsin.
Ooh, that added context is great.
Yeah.
They already had that moment, though. I mean, Paul Christ. Well, okay, now I got to go back in my memory vault. Paul Christ was pulling 8, 9, 10 win seasons, wasn't he?
He was a good coach there.
Yeah, he wasn't bad, but Michigan, I think, was the reason that he got fired there. I mean, they got blown out in 2021 against Michigan, and then Paul Christ was fired, I think, a couple of weeks later.
Paul Christ had a 72% win average.
I mean, how do you fire that?
I don't know. The same way people say we should fire Ryan Day. I don't know.
because
his
last season was 7-6.
Yeah, it did progressively get. It was, in my opinion, it was clearly going downhill on the Christ.
Yeah,
and they made the right decision moving on, in my opinion. But whew, great
I don't
added
think
context.
I don't think that it was getting so bad that it couldn't have been turned around. Is the thing.
Interesting. No. Okay, I disagree, but that's fair though.
Well, I don't know. Because I mean, yeah, if recruiting was going down, then that's something, and if the coaching just wasn't there, then that's something. But you're also asking this guy at Wisconsin that I feel like Wisconsin's just not who they were at one point, and so they're not bringing in the talent that like an Ohio State or Michigan and all of these other teams are bringing in. And then Michigan all of a sudden decides to get good too. And so you're asking Paul Chryst to go up against these elite teams and they fire him because he loses to the elite teams, but he beats everybody else.
When Ohio State coaches sign the contract, and that contract that says you win every game, you beat Michigan. Hey, the gig is a gig.
I think once you see that trajectory going down, and you start to see other coaches come up, I think you start to wonder, is he past his time? And I think it's hard to really stick with a coach on that downward trajectory. You got a fan base, you need to recruit and stuff like that. So I think it's a hard situation to be in. But I do think Chris' time was done there as well.
Okay.
Mainly because the recruiting it tanked into like the 40 to the 60 range, and the results on the fields were just not matching what he'd previously done at the beginning of his tenure. So yeah, I agree with Justin.
Okay, that's fair. And yeah, I forgot he was fired after Illinois beat them in 22. So I forgot that happened, and I'm sure that was embarrassing for Wisconsin to be beaten by their former coach like that.
That was awesome to watch.
That was, yeah. I'm sure Brett Bielema had a good night that night.
I don't think he appreciates you pronouncing his name like that.
What's his name? Brett
Bielema.
Bielema.
Oh, Bielema.
I say Bielema.
What did I say? Bielema? Okay. I heard somebody on TV say Bielema at one point, and I was like, is that how you pronounce it?
It was about as bad as your Oregon pronunciation.
Oh, God.
My Oregon? What's wrong with it?
Oregon.
It's a lot of syllables. I'm from Texas. We try to mash our words together, so bear with me.
Yeah, he's from Texas.
Yeah, we make our own language down there. So,
when I was told it's Oregon by somebody from Oregon, that if you don't sound like you have a gun, then you're not saying it right. Is that not?
No, wait.
Wait, I can't do it.
That's why I remembered it, because of the situation.
I don't trust people from Oregon.
Well, there you go.
I mean, that's fair. That's just common sense right there.
All right, guys.
Man.
So wait, let's see. It's Oregon and Bielema.
Oregon.
Bielema for sure.
Bielema.
Yeah.
Bielema.
Okay.
Right.
Bielema. Okay.
We'll be here every week to coach you.
Exactly.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that, you guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. We're moving on to Illinois at Penn State. Again, everybody in the chat, if you have a pick for the Illinois at Penn State game, throw it in there and we will throw it up on the screen. Illinois is currently ranked 19 after beating Nebraska last weekend. Penn State is ranked number 9 after taking a weekend off. Illinois is 4-0. Penn State is 3-0. And I lost my other note here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the real simple question here is Illinois still moving up? Are they going to get the upset over Penn State, or are they going to walk away with their first loss? So let's start over there with you, Justin. I know this one probably still hurts, so maybe you can get this one out of the way.
Yeah. Well, I do got to say, Illinois deserves a lot of credit. We were talking about earlier with the officials and stuff like that, and I saw too much complaining. I think, I understand there were calls that could have won Nebraska the game, but regardless, in my opinion, that changes nothing about it. Let's say we get one of those calls, we score a touchdown, go for 2 and win. The execution problems were still there, right? And Illinois still executed well. So what Illinois did and what Bielema did was they came out with a game plan and they executed it perfectly. They attacked Nebraska's 3-3-5 the exact way they should. We run a lot of man. And whenever we did run man, they did a lot of motions. What they would do is they would bring a guy across the block. Sometimes they always had a running back, and it was either an inside handoff, a quick hitting RPO, or it's like a hitch or an out route. They didn't do anything too complex. But what they did was they made sure to spread the offense out. Sometimes they moved the pocket with Altmaier, and that opened up the middle. And then whenever they would give the inside handoff, it would draw the linebackers down, and then they would be able to throw it over the linebacker's head. And again, rinse and repeat. And then they'd get him in the box. They'd throw outside. It was a simple concept, simple scheme, but it was just Bielema looked like he had dialed up the perfect formula for Nebraska's defense. And I think if he can do that for Penn State, they can win this game. I don't know if I think Penn State might be able to execute a little better than Nebraska. I just think Penn State's ahead, of course, where Nebraska is naturally. But I'm not counting Illinois out of this. I think the spread's a little high. What Illinois did defensively, they have a lot of talent across the board. Nebraska really kind of, had to make some plays. But what they do well is they run very sticky man coverage. They do a lot of things defensively that are just kind of very much sticking to structure. And again, they don't do too much. They just play very sound defense. They mix up their coverages pretty well. And they're overall just nobody's going to kill you on their defense. Dennis Briggs Jr., number 6, look out for him. Number 28, Dylan Rosiak, the linebacker. He's excellent. He has had over 600 snaps last year. Very, very good. Number 7 is kind of a do-it-all type of player. Excellent. And then 14 and 10, number 14 and 10, I forget their last names. When I was watching film, I just go by numbers. But they have incredible ball skills. And so Aller's going to have to be on, and he's going to have to really be able to make sure his throws are where they need to be, or else Illinois could force a couple turnovers. They're opportunistic, and they could make this – they could turn this game around. But I think Illinois keeps this within a touchdown. I would say probably – I'm going to go 24 – let me go – actually, no, let me go sorry, let me go 34-27.
34-27, all right. Yeah, where'd it go?
Might be a little lower scoring than that, but I was thinking 24-27, 21-27, but I'll stick with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised. It'll be interesting to see if it is that close. Nevada Buck here has it at 16-13. I mean, how long has it been since Illinois playing Penn State has been in that kind of a question? Pete, let's go over to you.
That was 20. Was it 2021? The 7 OT game, 7 OT, whatever. They went to OT and Illinois won it.
Okay.
Oh, versus Penn State, yeah.
Yeah, versus Penn State, yeah. Was it 7 OT?
The 2-point conversion fest.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part about predicting this game for me was it's kind of a styles make fights type of deal, and I think Illinois matched up very well physicality wise with Nebraska, and I think their game plan, they executed it well on Nebraska's 3-3-5. It's just a matter of what game plan Bielema brings for Penn State, and can it be as effective? That is, of course, the recipe here. But from what they showed, I have no reason to doubt it.
All right, Pete, let's go over to you. What do you got?
This is a fun matchup, and I was not expecting to say that preseason. No. But the Illini, they're built like Brett Bielema built his teams in Madison. I mean, we saw flashes of it in 2022 with their elite tailback. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he was very good for them, and they are built in that same mold this year, except even better. Their offensive line is better. They are mauling people. It's really fun football to watch for me. It is Big Ten football to a T, and I really love it. I think the styles of this game are so interesting. I mean, Allars only threw the ball 58 times through 3 games so far. That's not much more than Michigan's throwing the ball around. Mm-hmm. They're not dependent on him to win games. They're relying on Singleton and Allen to bruise people as well, much like Illinois. And so we're going to see I would think a lot of rushing yards in this game, although the Penn State defense is kind of known with Abdul Qadir for shutting down the run game. But, Altmaier hasn't turned the ball over yet, through 4 contests. That's remarkable. He might have fumbled, but I know he hasn't thrown any interceptions. And so he takes care of the football. But he not only does that, he makes plays with the football. he can extend plays with his legs, and he is accurate with the football. And Illinois is a fun team to watch, and I'm going for it. I know it's in Happy Valley, but I think the Illini continue to perform well, and they get the dub 31-28. Illini, I'm taking them to win it outright.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. All right.
31-28, so by a field goal. All right. Garrison, let's go to you.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game. I mean, plus 18.
Yep.
That's
They're giving no shot to Illinois.
That's crazy.
That's called free money, everybody. No, I think I just tossed myself into picking Illinois, and you guys helped me do it. Honestly, I think that this game being at 7:30 does mean something. I think it's the hardest place to play in the nation. Especially at night. Don't care what any of you SEC fans say. I think Drew Allar's playing better this year. I trust Illinois' defense more than I trust Penn State's right now. I honestly do. Penn State doesn't have the weapons on the outside to, I think, even threaten Illinois' defense. On the other hand, I'm blanking on his name, but Penn State lost their best defensive back. Luke Altmaier can make a lot of plays, man. He can make a lot of plays. And I think when you're going against a guy like Abdul Carter and the rest of that defensive line, not to mention Illinois has a nice offensive line. It looks like what Wisconsin used to look like.
They block really effectively.
Yeah, exactly, man. I don't know if on paper, I don't know if Penn State's better than Nebraska. I think this is Illinois is winning this football game. They're gonna win this football game. I mean, a score. Give me 27-20.
27-20. All right.
I don't know. And I don't know why. Every inch of me says Penn State's gonna win this game, but
we're calling a lot of games like that this year. I don't know why I'm calling that, but that's what I think it's going to be. All right, Mac, you're up.
So I think that.
Whoa!
You guys hear that?
Whoa!
Yeah,
drag racing.
All right, dude.
There's drag race in the cul-de-sac there.
There are apparently drag races that happen down here.
Entirely legal ones, I'm sure.
No.
No.
But no, that's what my wife found out is on Holland Informed, is that the police are actually looking for a drag racing gang. Anyway,
we got Fast and Furious.
Wait, in Holland?
In Holland, yeah. No, really, that's legit. They start over at the beach, over at Ottawa State Park, and they start over there, and then go down towards downtown, and then sometimes come over this way.
Is one of the cars called the Flying Dutchman? You like that?
That's funny because Holland, it's Dutch. Yeah. I get it. That's great.
Dutch swag. If you ain't Dutch, ain't
Fast 11, Holland.
Fast 11. I think they're on Fast 12 now, aren't they?
That's disgusting.
It's stupid. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so I'm tempted to just take the Kent State game and disregard it completely because it's Kent State.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
I just feel like Penn State's most impressive performance remains the West Virginia game. Yeah. And I feel like that's actually kind of a bad thing. Not that West Virginia is like not good, but more like I think that kind of emphasizes how concerning it was that Penn State's defense struggled that much against Bowling Green. And I think if you look, at Bowling Green and Illinois, whose offense is better? I think it's Illinois.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So conventional wisdom says, okay, Penn State is just an all-around good team. They've definitely improved year over year. They've got I guess, 1.5 blowout wins, I would say. But the fact remains, Illinois is built. I mean, I can't remember who said it, but they are built like a traditional Big Ten football team. And they are really good at punching you in the mouth. And Luke Altmaier is a really good quarterback, and they've got themselves a really good offensive line now. And when Penn State goes up against a complete offense, I feel like their defense just kind of falls apart, and not in a glorious, explosion of fire and sadness kind of a way, or you can chip away at them like Michigan chipped away at them last year. I mean, Penn State's defense knew what was coming the entire game, and they still couldn't stop it. So I'm honestly kind of shocked that I'm not the only one who wants to pick Illinois, because again, like, conventional logic says Penn State should win this game. It's a night game. It's at Penn State. Penn State probably has a better offense than Illinois, but Illinois is, I think, an all-around more solid team, I guess. Like, their performance week to week doesn't fluctuate. They're good. I mean, the two ranked teams that they played them kind of close, but they won both of them. I mean, Penn State's over here playing footsie with Bowling Green. Like, what's going on with that? I'm going to go ahead and pick Illinois too, just for the heck of it, just because I feel like they can do it. I mean, conventional logic says that Penn State's going to win, but I just feel like Illinois is gonna pull it off.
They also have Kit. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say big game. James Franklin is gonna show up again probably. He's 3-17 versus top 10 teams. I know Illinois is not a top 10 team.
Yeah.
He's got a slightly better record versus top 25 teams, but not much better.
And that's probably the difference. Illinois, I feel like, is good enough to put Penn State in a position where James Franklin is going to lose the game via coaching. At some point during the game, James Franklin's going to need to make a decision. And that decision is going to be the difference between Penn State panicking and falling apart or Penn State pulling off the win. And James Franklin somehow or another always seems to end up on the wrong side of that decision. So I think that's the game right there, is Illinois is good enough to take this to the fourth quarter. And if it does go to the fourth quarter, James Franklin is going to coach them out of a game, out of a win. And that's why I think Illinois wins.
The one thing Illinois does well is they have an offensive identity and they don't deviate from it, right? They do what they do well, and they change up some concepts of what they do, but they don't deviate it from it much. And this season, what it's been a part of, or what's been a lot of, is just, they came out with 4 passes, 2 runs in that early slate, getting Altmaier in a rhythm. It's quick hitting stuff, move the pocket, try to put your offense in a position to where, like against Nebraska's pass rush, they made sure that ball was out of his hands quick, or they were moving the pocket to move him away into space. And then that way they were able to execute. So I just think a lot of it is Bielema more so executing his game plan throughout the game. And I think that just could ultimately end up wearing down Penn State. And kind of like to your point, I don't know if Penn State will make the necessary adjustments, because I don't know if Penn State has an identity that we can point to just yet. And Caden Fagan is 6'3", 250, by the way, the running back for Illinois. So it's tough running into that line.
I do want to say this. There is a chance that Penn State blows their doors off.
100%.
And so I also don't want to take away from that fact, or maybe facts, but I mean, because if they do that, I'll give them all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
Because I don't think beating Illinois is easy. But if they go out there and they just, the crowd's into it. Luke Altmaier, he's never seen a stadium like this before.
Mm-hmm.
He's never seen an environment like this before. I'm not going to say.
Calm down.
I'm sorry, man. I'm still bitter. I lost money, man.
And two, our in our defense, both our starting cornerbacks were out. Tommy Hill went down early in that game. Bly Hill was already out. We're already bad on.
I was even more upset because I took time in the first quarter to tweet at Cliff saying, "Hey, my Raiola coming out party. It's on the way."
When Tommy Hill went down, they picked on our corners. For sure.
Oh man, I said
Mac,
300 yards, man.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Illinois 31-27.
Okay, another question for you guys. Does the 12-team playoff save James Franklin's career?
Yeah.
He's got the most to gain from it. One of the programs.
With some of
Not
those
if he-
teams he had, he would have scared a lot of people with like the Saquon Barkley and McSorley teams with Mike Gesicki in them. Who were the receivers they had? Like, oh no, that team would have scared a lot of people.
If he gets in it. If not, it might expedite his firing. So
yeah.
But that's the thing. I feel like Penn State's always hovering around like somewhere around 15, so they're always like on the edge. And then, I mean, I feel like it would have been a situation where the 12-team playoff saves James Franklin for a few years, but then he gets fired because he keeps making the playoff and can't win the first game.
But I think if you're Penn State, like making the playoff consistently, I think that probably is like their standard almost.
Yeah. And never forget, I mean,
or like
that's
playoff. Height of their standard.
He almost made a playoff. They just thought Ohio State was better even though they beat them. That sucks, but
yeah, but I mean, I can't imagine, like, if we were still in the 4-team playoff, I can't imagine James Franklin coaching in a 4-team playoff game. I mean, you want to talk about big game James, like he would coach them out of that game for sure. Like they would lose every 4-team playoff game they would ever make because he would coach them out of it. I mean, undoubtedly.
Wow. Yeah, without question. That 2016 year, I mean, they lost to Pitt. Like, don't lose to Pitt, and you make the playoffs.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, our next game, number 3, Ohio State, is going over to Spartan Stadium. Ohio State is 3-0 with a fair number of points of their own, and they've finished their practice season now against Akron, Western, and Marshall. Although they had that little bit of a scare there in the first half against Marshall.
Hey, don't disrespect Akron. How dare you disrespect Akron? What are you doing?
The in-state rivalry, I forget.
You're going to offend Garrison. Don't you know how fragile he is?
Oh, my.
Well, they're playing his other favorite team, the Spartans here. Spartans have racked up 3-1 with a fight to the finish loss against Boston College in the rain. I mean, pouring down rain like crazy. It looked like they were playing in the ocean. The Spartans have exactly 7.2% of a chance to win this game. Coming off of the Boston College game, I don't know if they could be considered the wounded animal like we were talking about with Wisconsin, but Ohio State is definitely done with their practice schedule. Does Michigan State give them a fight, or is this game a beatdown? And I think I'm going to let the Ohio State guys go last. Mac, what do you think?
No. I want to hear what they have to say.
All right. You sure?
Do it up. Yeah,
Pete, Pete, you can go first. I have a lot to say.
Pete. Go ahead, Pete.
He's got notebooks for this one. Aiden Childs, bro. 7 interceptions already on the season. The dude is so inconsistent. It's got to be infuriating, but also rewarding at the same time because he's such a step up from what they had last season at the position. I mean, the dude makes remarkable throws, and he made some in the Boston College game that made my jaw drop. That deep ball touchdown was phenomenally placed. And then he comes back with a boneheaded throw that just makes you shake your head. It's my goodness, the inconsistency is just all over the place for Aiden. They were without 4 wide receivers for that game. And Nick Marsh, who burst on the scene with a 194-yard performance in week 2, their biggest star, he was out as well. But, man, Michigan State had them beaten. They had won the game, and they let them off the hook. I have a lot of Michigan State friends as well, and wow, the kind of text and the vitriol that came through after they let that one slip away. My goodness. This is going to be bad. Like, it's going to be awful. Rob and I were considering going to this game, but I didn't realize it was on the 28th, and I'm actually in a wedding this coming weekend, so I'm going to miss this one actually. But
who is your horrible friend that scheduled a wedding in the fall?
No, right? Fall weddings, bro. Come on, what's up with that?
Unacceptable. Unfriend them.
I'm like, right.
My cousin's during the Iowa game.
I mean,
October 12th is the biggest day for weddings for the entire year, and it's the best day for college football, without question. So, anyway, but Will Howard and Quinshon Judkins, Trayvon Henson. I mean, we're just firing on all cylinders, but we need to see it against some real teams, and thankfully, the Big Ten schedule is finally here. A few critiques about the Buckeyes, however, that I will critique my own squad. Sonny Styles, if you're a stat watcher, he had 7 tackles, but he took some very poor angles. My buddy Matt pointed it out. 11 Warriors pointed it out, and everybody who was watching the game saw it too. And so there still seems to be a little bit of lack of coverage skills from both Simon and Styles, so that needs to get cleaned up. James Laurinaitis, that's on you to get it done. I think we might see a little more of Arvell Reese potentially. He has flashed every time he's been on the field, and it's exciting to see a young buck like him stepping up. But the thing that excites me about this game, although it will be a blowout, 42-17 is my pick. The exciting thing is that it will prepare us for the legs of Dylan Gabriel that we'll be facing in a couple weekends. So Aaron Nolan most likely will run the scout team as he's our most athletic quarterback. And so we get a little prep for what Gabriel might look like. Although Gabriel has not been running the football much this season, and that's a far cry from what he was doing for the Sooners last season. But yeah, 42-17. Garrison's got the notebooks ready. Let's see what you got, buddy.
What do you got, Garrison?
Well, that's what I'm happy that Buckeye fans are not a monolith, because I've said for weeks I don't need to see my team challenged. I don't need to see them play Big Ten play. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy because I get to see more bells and whistles on our offense and defense because we've been playing vanilla. I know what this team is. It's what this is gonna, and I love Aiden Childs. I think that he's on a great path. Nick Marsh is a dog. They did miss a lot of players last week. They should have won that game regardless of the fact. And I think that Jonathan Smith has this program on the uprise. But I think that was his second game with 3 picks, right?
Yep.
He's about to face the best secondary in college football, and what I believe to be the best defense in college football.
BIA.
What did P say last week? Caleb Downs and the Ohio State defense. It just rings. It sounds so good in my ears. This is going to be the annual smacking of Michigan State that we've been having for some time now. Games where we could easily drop 100, but we choose not to on them.
Yeah. We both hate Michigan. We want them to do well later.
Right.
Wait a minute. Are you saying up until now they couldn't drop 100?
No, 2020 we definitely would have. But
what about Akron? What about?
Oh no. Can't be doing that to the little brothers. Yeah. But I just
wait. You said little brothers. All right. Thank you.
But no, I truly believe that this is going to be the Michigan State has more talent than the teams that we played so far. That goes without question. Michigan State has players. I think what everyone's going to see is what everyone thought they were going to see. We're going to beat them probably 52-10 at the most. They get 10 points at the most. I think Aiden Childs. I don't want to see him throw 3 picks, but there's a chance he's probably going to. The way Chip Kelly has this offense zooming right now. I mean, there was on Trayvon's first touchdown on Saturday. There was a play where they kept Fryer at the right tackle in place. Pete, let me know if I'm wrong. They pulled the tight end and Tegra.
Yeah.
And then the floodgates just opened. My goodness, Ryan Day could never make a play call like that on the run. He could never. He could do it in the pass for you. He could never come up with that. And then you see the way our running backs are running the ball. I mean, they're stiff arming guys into the dirt. I think the scary part for everybody is this. Oh, and by the way, for all you people that were saying Avery Johnson's better than than Will Howard, get out of here with that.
Yeah, be gone.
Get out of here. Be gone. We haven't even used Will Howard really. He's handing the ball off and throwing 2-yard outs and slants and bubbles.
Just
We
let
haven't
people
ran
go to work.
Yeah, we haven't even ran him yet, and he's definitely a runner. And so I look at outside of maybe 5 to 6 teams in college football, I look at the rest of you teams like deer meat.
So Garrison, do you think Michigan
really
State
do.
will get those? Do you think Michigan State will get those 10 points in the first half or garbage time?
Garbage time. Like there's a few teams in the conference that I look forward to playing, like a Nebraska, an Oregon, because I think they actually have offenses and quarterbacks, but unlike the latter, man, outside of 5 to 6 teams, I don't want to see this team lose to anybody. Outside of 5 to 6 teams.
Garrison, you getting the Peacock free trial? You creating fake emails for this week? Does it be able to watch on Peacock, or what you doing?
Oh, you know I am.
No doubt.
Why is it on Peacock?
If I don't have anything to do Saturday, and as of right now I don't, there's a chance I make that 1.5-hour drive. There's a chance.
Come on.
Yeah, I agree with Doreen on this one. Why is it on Peacock? I think they're not even simulcasting it on NBC, as far as I know. They're missing out on it because everybody around here is going to watch. I'm going to watch this game for crying out loud.
Isn't that what The Office is on?
The what?
The Office. It's on
Yeah.
Peacock.
Oh yeah.
I might get lost in that and miss the game. Like I don't go to Peacock.
The frustrating thing is the Georgia-Bama game is at the same time. So,
But again, and it's no disrespect to you boys in Ann Arbor. It's definitely no disrespect to the best fan base in America and Nebraska. I look at all of you like deer meat.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
All right, Mac, I'm going to make you go next because Justin is going to be our disinterested third party on this. So it's up to you.
Unbiased here.
I don't know that I've ever heard a more egotistical maniac statement. Like, I look at all of you like deer meat.
Deer meat.
Okay. All right.
I'm not talking about your arrogant fan bases. Come on, man.
I mean, seriously, people think Michigan fans are arrogant. We got this guy over here I'm gonna I don't even know. Venison. You guys are all venison to me, apparently.
I hate to say it, but 25 years of 1 and 2 loss seasons do that to you.
Man.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, I hate this game every year because it's like I don't want either team to win. I mean, when this game is played, America loses. That's how I feel. I mean, this game is just bad for the state of Michigan. It's not a good time. I will say though that I always when this game happens, I usually root for Ohio State. And that might be a little controversial, but the reason is this. I really don't like Mark D'Antonio. I really do not like Mark D'Antonio.
Why?
He is an angry, mean old man.
He's also a national champion.
And
0-2, what up?
Did he yell at you? What happened?
He's angry and mean. He's yelled at all of us.
I'm sorry, did he spank you for some years? What did he do to you?
Did he beat Western Michigan?
Yeah,
well, he did beat Western Michigan.
Okay,
a couple of times, and that upset me greatly. But no, there's this story in what's it called? End Zone, I think is the one of Mark D'Antonio coming to Michigan Stadium for the first time as the head coach of Michigan State, and he walks off the bus, and one of the Michigan, the Big House volunteers, a guy who works there, says, Coach D'Antonio, welcome to the Big House. And Mark D'Antonio, according to this book, says, go to hell. Like,
I love it. That sounds like a Midwest man if I knew one.
What?
He's combined the hatred that Ohio State has for Michigan and the hatred that Michigan State has for Michigan, and he morphed into this cyborg of bitterness.
That's the whole story.
That's one story. That's one story, and that's the only story I can remember off the top of my head.
So that had to have been the worst one.
Can you blame him?
Can I blame him?
He's a Buckeye and a Spartan. Like,
okay.
My dad went to high school with Mark D'Antonio. Actually, he was still the same bitter prick back in high school too.
This is what I'm saying, though.
How can you tell if he's bitter or not? He's got one expression.
And that expression is this. It's just angry. It looks like he's like, I don't know. It looks like he is angrily taking the worst bathroom break. I tried to keep that as PG as possible. He is very angrily going to the bathroom, and it just looks I hate it.
It's oddly specific.
I feel like a lot of men in the Midwest look like that.
I mean,
true.
Cold winters will do it to you.
Yeah, that's what those winters will do it to you, man.
They start all looking the same.
That's probably fair. Yeah, I don't know. I just try and smile through the pain. Yeah. Okay. So I guess two things. One, Michigan State's obviously on an upward trajectory under Jonathan Smith. He was absolutely the right hire, and I find myself actually like kind of excited for them. Because, I mean, again, like I can't stand Mark D'Antonio. The team became just angry thugs under him. And then under Mel Tucker, they became stupid thugs. And now under
you sound like such a Michigan man.
The difference?
You sound like such a Michigan man. That's so pompous of you.
Okay, anyway. So at least under Jonathan Smith, they're like playing happily. Like they actually they look excited. They look like, they're locked in, they're focused. They're playing, they're
at least
playing
everybody's
good
having
sports.
fun.
Yeah, at least everybody's having fun, man. That's what I'm saying. I just want everybody to have fun. All right. And that's cool. I like that for the little brother. I feel good for him. Ohio State's going to smack him around because Aiden Childs is probably going to go throw 2 or 3 interceptions. The crappy thing is that I think Michigan State beats Boston College probably by multiple scores if Aiden Childs doesn't throw those interceptions. And then all of a sudden they're 4-0 and they're ranked coming into this game. And you've got to be like, I don't know, man. Like, well, and not really.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's an undefeated matchup between 2 ranked teams, and it's a night game at Michigan State. Crazier things have happened. So, but he did throw 3 interceptions. They did lose to Boston College. And so for this game, what can you expect? You can expect several turnovers. You can expect probably a 50-burger from Ohio State. I think Michigan State will get a couple of punches in. They might score double digits, maybe. I'm going to call probably a 45-14 situation here. But for all the world, it could get a lot worse. I just think that Ohio State's going to put in some second and third stringers late in the game.
You said 45-14?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, I did want to say this couple things because I didn't want to seem like just bloviating about my Buckeyes. Yeah.
You were.
Yeah, I was. No, last week I said that tight end and linebacker, I need to see improvement. I did not see that on Saturday. I did not see that tight end and linebacker. Sonny Styles, yes. I'm not worried about him. He's clearly going to start. Arvell Reese is the second best linebacker on this team. He's the second best. I saw Doreen make a comment about him getting some time. He's a very good football player. Also, although we are wasting snaps, giving the ball to Devin Brown.
Oh, gosh, yes.
He's a third-string quarterback. I don't know if he's better than – well, I'll tell you this. I know he's not better than Julian Sand, and we are wasting precious snaps for him.
You're not prepping for the future if you're giving those garbage time snaps to Devin Brown over Julian Sand or who's the other guy?
Aaron Nolan. I'd rather see Lincoln get the ball over him now.
Yeah.
Likewise.
But again, I would say that for Lincoln Kienholz too. Like Kienholz? I don't know.
Kienholz.
Somebody correct me on my grammar because I know we were all thinking it.
Kienholz.
That one, I'm lost on that one. I think it's Kienholz, but
he can do a windmill dunk in his Vans.
Frozen half.
What?
I'm just saying. Keenholz can.
Can he?
He can do a what?
A windmill dunk in his Vans, like little loafers. He's a very athletic guy.
He's a good basketball player, no doubt.
Mac's so
Heck are
confused.
Vans?
And he bat 500 in high school.
You know what
Shoes.
Vans are?
Vans shoes.
Shoes?
Honda Odyssey.
Yeah. He's an athlete. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, sorry, I don't know lingo. I guess I don't know.
You don't know lingo. Vans is not lingo, bro. That's like
Shoe.
No. He can do windmill. He can do windmill. Whatever.
A windmill dunk.
You can. Okay. All right. I know what that is. But windmill dunk in his Vans.
That's
like
impressive.
my brain. Apparently it is. But my brain went to what in the world does a minivan have to do with doing a windmill dunk? I don't get it.
Dang it.
He opens the window. He jumps out onto the roof. He does a
That's the only
Oh man.
It's actually the only way. It's actually the only way I can dunk. I stand on a minivan.
Standing on, yeah. I mean,
All
same.
Right. Sorry, Justin.
All right, Justin, you get to bring some sanity to the conversation.
Well, hopefully.
What?
Yeah, exactly. That's a fair reaction.
What?
So Michigan State from last week, they lost. Of course, they lost their tackles or their guards and had to move their tackle over to guard. So I was curious and I checked their PFF grades. And not a single lineman on Michigan State graded out to over a 60. So that could be very, very bad because Michigan State already is bad at running the ball. I think they're 70-something and running the ball. So this is going to get ugly. I think it could be. I think Ohio State probably, I'd say, scores 48. I don't know how Michigan State's going to generate much offense. I think Childs might be able to make some stuff happen. He did in his last game, because the offensive line was so bad, but however, that's a blessing and a curse. I think maybe Michigan State gets a couple field goals and touchdowns, so I'll give them 16, but I'm going to give Ohio State maybe I'll go 52.
52.
16 is a lot of points.
52, yeah. I've been slowly climbing up the more I think about how bad Michigan is because I feel like Michigan might not be able to put many drives together. I think Ohio State just might have the ball a lot.
You keep saying Michigan. Could you say Michigan?
Michigan State. I'm sorry. Did I say Michigan?
More angry at you.
I
wasn't even meaning
for
to
later
do
in
that.
the season.
No,
Michigan does suck.
If Michigan State gets to 16, I'll come on here next week in my Michigan State basketball jersey.
Ooh.
Oh, all right.
If they get 16, you said?
If they get to 16.
Get to 16.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I said a touchdown and two. Yeah, that's 13. I did my math wrong.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Right.
I said a touchdown, two
I got to
field
save it
goals.
for
and I did-
basketball season.
So maybe I can correct grammar, but I can't do math. So there's that. I just heard somebody yell
Yep.
for help.
All right, I looked it up.
Background.
No, that's just my wife has a friend over and they're playing board games.
I thought somebody said help in the background.
God,
I mean, she might have
that's
said
a
help.
crazy
Yeah,
neighborhood, man. You got the street
Hey,
racing
Mac.
going on. You got some
He
murders
lives,
going
he
down.
lives right next to USC, clearly.
Exactly.
If you see Mac, run out of the room. Okay, I looked it up. I imagine there's different ways to pronounce it, but according to people in Spokane, Washington, it is pronounced Keenholz.
Keyholes.
Keenholz.
Keyholes.
I think if it was Kein, it'd be more German, and then it'd be Kaneholz. But not that any of that matters.
Why are you looking it up?
He's from the
From
Dakotas,
Spokane,
so I'm
Washington.
not sure.
There was a discussion. How do you pronounce?
Yeah, he's
Keenholz?
Dakota Heisman.
He had to clarify.
Well, apparently there's more Keenholzes in Washington than there are in Dakota.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right,
There
that's-
you go. It's genealogy. I don't know where people move to. If Michigan State,
Texas.
when Michigan State loses this game, what do we think is the ceiling for Michigan State this year?
Well, with their starting guards out for the season,
Yeah,
I don't know how that's going to go in the Big Ten.
Right.
7 wins. Is it I was 7 wins.
I'd have to look at their schedule, but I'd say off the top of my head, I'd probably say, yeah, maybe 7, 8. Eight's being nice, very nice. Let's go
Well,
7.
Yeah.
Because this is the way I feel about it is that Michigan State is still walking into at least half of these games or half of the Big Ten with more talent. So I mean, and I think they have a quarterback. They have a top 3 wide receiver in the Big Ten.
I just
Yeah.
can't look
And
past the
improve.
line, man.
And I still think they can beat. I think they can upset somebody in Ann Arbor. I still believe they could possibly do that. So,
Pioneer High School.
And
As long as you don't say Huron.
I'm sorry. I don't care how bad Michigan's offense is, or at least their passing game. Michigan State's not winning that game with their defense the way that it is. So
maybe so. Maybe so.
I had them at 5-7 entering the season. They've actually kind of outperformed what I thought they were capable of this season with the roster. I mean, Jonathan Smith is a heck of a coach. I knew that. I just thought the roster depletion over the last 4 to 5 seasons has been really rough. Now, he did infuse a lot of talent. He brought, I think, 13 players from Oregon State with him, and they are playing better than I thought. And so I'm impressed, but I still think a bowl game would be a success for them. I could see them probably capping at 6 wins. I'll give them an extra win from what I had at preseason.
Well, I'll tell you right now,
he will start at Michigan.
Their schedule not easy.
Yeah, their schedule after Ohio State, they
That's
have
rough.
Oregon, and then Iowa, and then Michigan, and then
Indiana,
and then Illinois.
Purdue, and Rutgers.
That's disgusting.
That's rough, dude.
Yep.
that's horrible.
I think I just went to like 3 wins.
Might be one win.
Yeah, I'm rethinking it.
It's Purdue. It's Purdue.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
Wait, who are the last 2 games?
Purdue and
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Purdue,
Rutgers
Rutgers.
is going to beat them for sure.
Those are winnable. Those are winnable games. Those are winnable.
Rutgers is better than people. In my opinion,
Heck yeah.
Rutgers is a very Illinois style of team where they're just going to beat you with physicality and just scheme and execution.
They're my playoff darling.
What?
I
had them.
I think
like it.
Rutgers. I think before the season started, like probably 4 months ago, I said there's a world where they go 10-1 or at least 10-2.
I did my
There's a
first
world.
my way too early prediction for
Or
Nebraska.
11-1.
I had us losing to Rutgers. I had the 2 games that I was marked as worrisome as Illinois and Rutgers, and I had us losing to Rutgers.
That's the game I thought
Which could happen.
Nebraska would trip up too. I had them at 6-1, but with a loss to Rutgers.
Yep.
They can play defense, man. They
Manunga
can
is
play
a
defense.
beast.
Yeah.
Doreen agrees. It's Keenholz.
Well, after she got the pronunciation,
No,
Somebody
and
put that
Doreen, we're not saying is QB2. We're saying he should be.
He will be, and I want to touch on that super briefly, but like he needs to hit the weight room more. Like he is still built like a twig, and he would get absolutely annihilated if he ever took a sack. And so I think he will be as we get closer to the end of the season. To Garrison's point, we're and Mac's point, we're throwing snaps away and we're wasting development. But you know, he still needs weight room time. Goodness,
He looks like Bryce Young.
He does.
He looks like a California quarterback.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Before we get to our last game, I just want to tell everybody in the chat, for the members in the chat, it looks like we got a bunch of them there tonight. We are having our members-only live stream Wednesday night. We're going to have a guest. I'm just going to say who it is. We're going to have Big Ten Ted on Wednesday night. Yes. And you're in the chat. You'll be able to ask him questions. He doesn't do a lot of live streams as far as I can tell. So this is an opportunity for you guys to throw some questions at him and get some information out of the head of his, because he's a pretty smart guy when it comes to football. He's probably a pretty smart guy with other things too. I have only heard him talk about football and the sun blowing up. For some reason, his favorite expression is "until the sun blows up." He's got a fascination with the sun blowing up.
He's got a great.
If that ever happens.
may I ask a question? I'm sorry, on the Ohio State QB debate. Well, so out of Keenholz and Sayin, can y'all clarify which one you are saying needs to be 2 and which one doesn't?
Sayin needs to be 2, and eventually we'll. But Keenholz is 4 right now, and Noland is 5. So
yeah, and Noland is probably better than Keenholz.
And so, okay, so I was curious. Sayin, there goes where'd my camera go? Okay.
We lost your camera, man.
He's
a man of mystery.
Oh man, Sayin's a freshman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. Is there any redshirt preservation trying to go on there? I'd have to look at all like their classes.
No, I'll tell you what. Like everyone thinks Julian Sayin is going to start next year. I think there's a very good chance he will. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that he's gonna. I think Tavian St. Clair could possibly start next year because it's a very young QB room, and I don't know if you've seen Tavian St. Clair, but he looks like a grown man.
Yeah, he does. Facts.
All 6'4", 230 of them,
and he could run Chip Kelly's offense to perfection.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying in the chat that they don't think that Chip Kelly's going to last that long. I don't know if they have anything to back that up.
This is his dream job. Calling play.
Where else is he gonna go? I mean, he can't be a head coach.
Well, he can. He doesn't want
to be anymore. Yeah.
Well,
UCLA.
I guess that's what I meant. Is no one's gonna hire him. I don't know. I don't know if anyone would hire him.
He doesn't want to talk to your boosters. He doesn't want to recruit. He doesn't want to do any of that. He wants to coach football.
He won't recruit. He will not recruit.
So real quick, Doreen, that member live stream is Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there. All right. Let's go to our last game, Minnesota at Michigan. This is the battle for the Little Brown Jug, which hasn't been played since, I guess it's only been a couple of years.
Last year?
Was it last year? No.
Yep.
Was it?
Yes.
All right.
I thought they don't play it every year.
They don't now. Not anymore.
Not anymore, but they did last year, yeah.
Yeah. This is, in fact, the 106th meeting of Minnesota and Michigan. And the cool story behind that jug, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but it was the 1903 game. And Michigan's coach, Fielding Yost, wanted to take his own water because he thought Minnesota would do terrible things to the water supply. So he didn't want to use their water. So they went and bought a jug. And they took it to the game, and when they left, they forgot to take the jug with them. And Yost called him up and said, "I want our jug back." And the guy said, "If you want it, you're going to have to come back here and win it." And then I think it was about 10 years before they went back and played him again.
I love college football.
I love college. That's all I was thinking.
It is, in fact,
take it.
The Little Brown Jug is the oldest rivalry trophy in college football, which I don't understand why they didn't still have this as a protected rivalry. I mean, it would seem like this is a no-brainer, but they decided not to protect this rivalry. At any rate, right now, Minnesota is 2-2, coming off of a very painful loss to Iowa. Michigan coming off a very joyful win over USC as the underdogs. They had an upset over USC. Michigan has a 76.9% chance to win this game, according to the FPI. The question here is, I'm sorry. I wanted to point this out too, because a lot of Michigan fans have been complaining about Martindale, but after the USC game, apparently Moore actually gave Martindale the game ball. So he sees something in Martindale that the rest of us are not seeing yet.
He backed off the blitzing.
Well, okay. Is that all we wanted? We just wanted him to back off the blitzing?
Yes.
All right.
Literally, yeah. That's all it was.
So the other question going around is Michigan's current scheme sustainable? Are they going to be able to keep going without the pass? That's the big question right now. So,
sorry, guys.
That's all right. Let's start with, let's see. So we're going to have to do Justin last again because he's going to have to be the disinterested third party. Mac, yes. I'm going to make you go first this time.
Can't get my camera working. Sorry, guys.
You go first. That's all right, Justin.
Just heads up.
So, Mac, go ahead. What are you looking for in this game? What's your score pick? Is this whole situation sustainable for Michigan?
Okay. I mean, I guess I would have said no because I would have expected if Michigan, if you had told me Michigan's going to have 32 passing yards against USC and then asked me if I thought Michigan was going to win, I'd say no, of course not. That's you can't win throwing the ball for 32 yards, but they did. And they did it by getting back to their identity as a run team. Is that something that can sustain them throughout the rest of the season? Actually, kind of, yeah, for the most part, until they run into like Oregon and and Ohio State. So, yeah, I think that against Minnesota, Michigan can run the ball for 300 yards. I think that they figured out something on the offensive line. I think that Kalel Mullings is absolutely running back one. I think Donovan Edwards is a good running back too, but he also should be at slot receiver. He needs to be on the field somewhere because he's just too good of a weapon. I think that if you're a betting person, you're going to want to take the under in every single one of Michigan's remaining games. Michigan's not going to post more than 30 points in any of their games. I would be shocked if they did. I think that Michigan probably wins this 28-6, 28-7. I think that I think that the padlock stat is going to be Michigan with like 40 minutes or 35 minutes time of possession, something ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, no, it's not sustainable, but the rest of the schedule is actually not that hard until you get to Oregon and Ohio State, Illinois. Actually, I mean that could be interesting, but I mean, if Michigan can put up 300 yards rushing against USC, then they can put it up against Washington, Illinois, Indiana. Maybe not Oregon and Ohio State though. Mm-hmm. So 28-7 Michigan.
28-7. Yeah, and now that I must still get flustered doing these shows because now I'm remembering that it was PJ Fleck last year who was talking about how Michigan just gradually rolled them over through the entire game, that they just didn't stop. It was just that gradual sort of enclosing. And I think it was PJ Fleck's description of the game that led to, wasn't it Joel Klatt who came up with the boa constrictor comment?
Yeah.
It was right there. Yeah. Because they just strangled him until they suffocated him.
Right.
All right. And you said 28-7.
Yep.
All right. Garrison, let's go to you. What do you got?
For score, I have Michigan 24, Minnesota. I'll go 13. I think you guys have more talent than them, so I think that's why you'll win. Minnesota does have a good defense, so I do think there's a chance they could possibly stop you and get their offense on the field a bit more. The problem is their offense can't score. This is the perfect game. All right, last week, Sherrone Moore said that he can, in fact, pass. Now, everything he has done to this point says otherwise, and he's clearly lying to you guys' face again. Kind of like how he did when he said, "Oh yeah, Will Johnson's okay. If he could have came back in, then why would you keep him out in the last 2 drives of the game? Like that doesn't make sense to me. I couldn't take my coach lying to me like that.
Maybe they had a good game plan.
Oh yeah, keep Will Johnson out. No, I don't think this offense is sustainable against elite teams. I think if you guys played Texas with that offense, you would have gotten blanked.
Wait. You're saying that against Texas, we had Davis Warren was the better option then?
Yeah. I'll bring it to you two, actually. So I had a conversation with 2 of my friends, both Michigan fans, Saturday after the game.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about it, and I asked them a question. I said, do you guys believe that Alex Orji is outperforming Davis Warren in practice? And they all said no.
Are they there?
No.
Yeah.
No, they're not there. They're not there. But sometimes I think we can all use common sense. Their reason was the problem with Davis Warren is that it's not that he was playing bad. He turns the ball over. That's true. He turns the ball over.
That's bad.
No, it is bad. It is bad.
Funny. I know it.
No,
I
it is
appreciate that
bad.
analysis from Justin.
But let me ask you guys a question. Could you imagine this coming out if you guys are playing, let's say, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia? Because you guys like to call yourselves an elite program, right? So if you saw, you do. You think you guys have just same players we all do. This was you guys after your last touchdown in the first half. Punt, fumble, punt, touchdown.
That's called field position, baby.
Had them right where they wanted them.
Is anybody worth their salt? Like if you played Tennessee, if you played Ole Miss, they would have wiped the floor with you. So I don't know, man. I don't think you guys will go 7-5, but you ain't going 9-3. I mean, you're probably at best you're 9-3. At best.
Yeah. So friendly reminder: I said the exact same thing that you did.
Yeah, I mean what else can you do? What else can you do but just regurgitate it? I mean, you had 9 yards before that last touchdown drive. In that second half, you had 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. A Nevada Buck.
Oh yeah.
A Nevada Buck. I promise you, at no time this year will you see Ohio State with 9 yards and a half. I promise you, throughout the whole year, you will never see that. So
and that's okay. You
that's
guys,
not
okay. You guys can be. You guys can be.
Wait.
No,
you think that's okay? You think that's okay?
No. I'm saying
wow,
it is
Mac. Wow,
okay. Mac. It is okay that you guys will probably have more than 9 yards, and a half every single game. All right, it's okay.
Probably.
It's okay with me that Ohio State is good. It's okay with me that Ohio State is good. It's okay with me that Michigan's probably going to go 8-4, 9-3 this season. That's okay.
If we're good, what does that make you guys? I want to hear you say it.
If what?
You said you didn't call us great. You called us simply good. If we're good, I want to know what you guys are. I want to hear you say it though.
Not as good.
Oh, come on. There's a 3-letter word for it. I want to hear it. Michael Jackson has the album called this.
Not Vans.
Oh, super crappy. Got it. Michigan's not bad though. That's the thing.
No, they're not bad.
It's all great. Like
they're good in 2 phases of the game for sure.
Michigan, yeah. The thing is, Michigan's offense is really good, Michigan's offense is really good running the ball, and they figured something out with the O-line. Are they going?
You're ranked 26th.
Okay.
So
in what?
In rush yards per game.
Oh well, so yeah. I mean that makes sense. It's not like it's been lights out every single game, but they figured something out against USC.
Navy.
I don't know if I don't know if there's much so here's my thing too, because scheme matters in terms of how the offensive line plays. So I think it made it a little bit easier on the offensive line, just the style in which they played with Orgy. They didn't have to really pass block a lot. And so I think that probably that whole game plan, I think, is just that's what I said last week. I thought that entire game plan was the best suited approach for Michigan to be able to win, because I do think that takes a lot of the pressure off the O-line. And then also it just wears teams down over the course of the game. And like
Dustin,
even Garrison is what's up?
I cover both PFF guys. I want to read this to you. This is run blocking grades on the PFF. Miles Hinton was at a 70.6. Mind you, Samaj Morgan was number 1, then Max Bredesen.
I never said it was
good. Because the run blocking, everyone's in the 60s.
I got their PFF grades up. I got their PFF.
It's
he's ready, locked and loaded.
Deer meat.
However, the scheme, it makes it a lot simpler on an offensive line to act as a unit when you're focusing on one aspect of a game plan, in my opinion. And even though may necessarily it didn't work the best, they weren't the best in terms of run blocking, I think that's the best we've seen that offensive line look, just the eye test. So and I just think that's going to make life easier on them. But I just think, kind of to your point, it just makes the offense so one-dimensional that it's going to catch up to them in a lot of ways against certain teams.
Certainly.
Yes.
I don't think
Minnesota
is one of those.
Please start Crippen.
Precisely. Please start Crippen?
Yes.
But let me throw something into the mix here, though, because we've got, according to the FPI, Michigan's strength of schedule is 10. Ohio State's is 131. Clearly, Ohio State is a good team. But by the same token, in 21, 22, and 23, when Michigan wins the Big Ten and beats Ohio State and then eventually wins a national championship, they still weren't putting up the kind of numbers that Ohio State did.
Yeah,
they weren't putting up the same kind of points. They weren't putting up the same kind of yards. Well,
this is different.
Well, and I get it. You can't. What the transitive property doesn't work in football, but by the same token,
it's a system.
If it's what was that, Justin?
It's a system approach, systematic approach. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm not talking about the transit property that's different. I mean, just in the fact that I was joking when I say, but I'm very serious. It is very hard for a D1 college quarterback to go 2.7 per. Like it's really hard to you would never see JJ McCarthy. You wouldn't see K McNamara do that.
Yeah. I don't want to talk.
It's hard, man. It's that's not a.
Well, I'm only thinking of this in terms of the teams get affected. You know, any given Saturday, these teams get affected in different ways. JJ McCarthy threw his fair share of interceptions, but still managed to help Michigan win the national championship. So, in I guess the only point I'm looking at here otherwise is that you really have to look at the fact that OSU has played the cupcake teams here in these first 3 games. Sure, they've looked good doing it. They've looked a lot better than Michigan does, but they're still playing lesser teams. Michigan has played the number 3 team and the number 11 team. Ohio State is playing teams that aren't ranked. So how do you judge that in terms of which team is actually progressing? I mean, if Michigan can progress and catch up by the time they get to Ohio State, and having said that, I'm not convinced that Michigan's going to beat Ohio State this year. But some of those stats are, what's the intermediary? I guess,
Yeah.
you know, they don't really, you
that.
can look at the stats right now and they may not matter. It could be in the next 3 games, Orji might throw 10 touchdown passes. Maybe, maybe not.
No. See, you just gave Garrison fodder again. You gotta stop doing that.
Okay.
No.
So what if he throws 2 touchdown passes in every game for the next 3 or 4 games?
I need to know what those passes look like.
They look
I need to know what those passes look like, because if they look like the ones, if they look the 2 he has now, I've learned nothing.
Okay.
Have we looked at Michigan-Minnesota game yet? I feel like we turned this into a Michigan season prognostication.
Dude,
projection for the year.
Because they are a very interesting team. They are.
Yep.
They are.
They are a very interesting team. I don't get it. I don't get them.
I do. I consider myself an expert after last week.
All right. Well, we did so Mac did talk about the Michigan-Minnesota game. Garrison also did. So Pete, you're up next. Go for it.
Minnesota's quarterback Brosmer. I mean, when you got people yearning for Kelly McManus, that's not a good thing. Goodness gracious!
Calm down. He's 2-0 versus Nebraska. Relax.
Fair point. Did not actually know that. But yeah, this is what Michigan should do in this game versus Minnesota. They should give him at least 15 to 20 throws. They will not do that, though. They will go back to the Penn State formula for last year, and they're going to just try and continue to ram the ball down the throat. I think they're going to continue to hide Orji's weaknesses. And in a game like versus Minnesota, that's okay. They're going to get away with that, and they'll be fine, and they'll win comfortably. To Mac's point, he said, I don't think Michigan will score over 30 points in a game the rest of the way. And I can see where he's coming from in saying that. I want to agree with him, and I tend to agree with him. But in this game in particular, because Minnesota's rush defense is so poor, Caleb Hudson just went for 206 on them and made them look silly constantly. Their tackling was appalling. I think Mullins is going to have a fun time in the big house. You know, it really is an opportunity to grow Alex Orji, but I don't think the Wolverines are going to take the opportunity to do that. And I said it last week. I think in a couple weeks, Jack Tuttle is your starter, and I still believe that. So that is what I'm going with. I do not think Alex Orji is the solution at quarterback for the Wolverines. He is not the answer, and I think they will move in another direction here in a couple weeks.
He's a D1 linebacker.
Hey, did you give a score?
Yeah, 32-13 Wolverines. Sorry.
All right. Oh, that's right. All right, Justin. What do you got?
Yeah, so about kind of the season long thing with Alex Orji. Just speaking on that real quick, because Alex Orji 6'3", 235. What I saw last year, and take this from like Heinrich Harburg, right? Heinrich Harburg was running the ball 20 times a game, 15 to 20 times a game, and he came out and he was hot early in that little stretch, right? But then those hits start, and he's a big boy. Heinrich Harburg is every bit of probably 6'2", 6'5", something like that. So he's a big boy. He played tight end. He was in the tight end room in 2022. But as the season went along, he got way more tentative when it came to hitting the holes. He got a little less aggressive when it came to running the ball, and his body started to wear down as he took those hits. And the same may happen to Alex Orji. And so that's where I think Michigan might lose the battle of attrition over the course of the season. I don't think that happens in this game. I think this game they pretty handily beat Minnesota. Minnesota's not very good. I would say probably, I'd say 27-10. But yeah, I think over the course of the season, they're going to have to try to find some way to implement a passing game of some sort with Orji, or else he's going to wear down. And I don't like, that's what led to, Harburg a little bit later in the season having fumble issues, and then his passing suffered. And again, he just wasn't attacking as aggressively in terms of the run game, which is everything. Like when you have Orji and you're trying to get him 3 or 4 yards a carry to kind of wear a defense down, well, then those 3 or 4 yards a carry when he's not hitting the holes as hard comes down to 1 or 2 yards a carry or a stop or a loss. And so that's just kind of my take on the kind of projection for looking at the season. But in this game, just Minnesota's bad all around. We saw what happened to North Carolina, who was Minnesota barely beat week 1. And so, yeah, take that for what you will. But yeah, 27-10, just Fleck is terrible. I can't stand that guy.
I think he peaked back in 2019. I think that was actually his best season.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
I don't like PJ Fleck slander, man.
They went 9-4 in 22. They went 6-7 last year, and is not looking like they're on a good trajectory. PJ Fleck, in my opinion, he's kind of coaching for his job this season. Maybe the
Mac, defend your boy.
He likes that boat reference, but he's lost at sea right
He
now.
lost Yeah, North Carolina did beat him, yeah. Minnesota set up for fireworks, though.
I'm not going to defend PJ Fleck. He ditched my Broncos for Gophers, and I just feel like that was a serious downgrade. I mean, Minnesota is where head coaches go to watch their career die a slow, painful death. I mean, to say that program is a dumpster fire from an administrative standpoint is like the understatement of the century, and frankly, probably offensive to dumpsters that are on fire.
Western Michigan is a underrated, athletic department, very underrated. Very underrated.
Minnesota?
No, Western Michigan.
Oh, Western Michigan. Oh, yeah,
very underrated athletic department.
Oh, they know what they're doing. Yeah, it's a pretty well run department for sure. I got one more thing to say about Alex Orji though. So like okay. I do think that a passing game has to happen at some point. I don't think that Jack Tuttle's the answer. I don't think that believe it or not, I don't think that he's as dynamic as Alex Orji, and I feel like Michigan's offense is at its best when Alex Orji is under center. And I'm kind of shocked that Garrison didn't just burst into a ball of flames there. But
wait, you just even look at the camera?
It's just well, I saw it. I'm just like I can feel that stare, and it makes me uncomfortable. But anyway,
you're my guy, man. You're my guy. I'm gonna be nice.
I appreciate you, man. I do. There's time to develop that passing game. There is. And there was flashes of it when Orji was throwing to the sides of the field, throwing out into the flats, throwing those wide receiver screens. Those things can happen. And actually throwing out to the sides of the field, I mean, maybe at that point you establish something out wide so that the defense then has to spread out, and all of a sudden the middle of the field's open. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, that's what Illinois did to Nebraska.
Yeah. There are options. There are things that they can do. And honestly, I mean, if I'm coaching Michigan, which there's a reason I'm not, obviously, but like Donovan Edwards is in the slot. Alex Orji is throwing receiver screens to him. I mean, that could be a thing. And I feel like Donovan Edwards is at his best when he's on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. So if you throw the ball to him where the D line isn't where he is, then he can get outside and he can make some plays and stuff like that. There are options to make this offense more dynamic. We just haven't seen Sharon Moore do it yet. And I feel like probably an underlying story to this season right now is Sharon Moore trying to come into his own. I mean, he's inheriting a team with a depleted roster right after the prodigal son returned and delivered a natty. So he's probably feeling some pressure right now, and beating USC, I feel like, took a lot of that pressure off, because now he's got Minnesota and Washington to figure out a passing game. And if he can figure out a passing game before Illinois, and then all of a sudden Illinois becomes a ranked win, then we're looking at Oregon like maybe there's a chance with a passing game out into the flats that opens up the middle of the field, and Michigan's O-line really starts to gel in the running game. Maybe.
The thing with that is, right, is if you throw out to the flats and they start to cover that, they can still stack the box. You have to have a threat of somewhat an over-the-top look, or else they're just going to bring those safeties down and they're just going to eat. And those safeties will be able to close out on those screens or those flat routes. You're going to have to give them something that can take the safeties and the linebackers a little out of the box. And that's going to be the tough part, I think, because you can open up the middle, but you got to open up the field completely. And that's, when teams start scheming against it on film, that's what they're going to key in on, is just take away the flats and stack the box and beat Michigan. And they're going to have to get teams out of that for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was like, Mac, just so you know, that play concept you came up with was way more creative than anything Kirk Campbell's called.
I'm aware. Believe me, my application is in at the Michigan Athletic Department now.
I like what I was hearing right there.
I think the best thing is to move the pocket. I think you just got to get Orji moving the pocket.
Play action is going to be huge for him, but I say that knowing that he has a hard time throwing on the run for some reason too.
RPOs,
maybe.
Oh yeah.
I see that pass that he threw in the dirt against Fresno State in my nightmares right now, man. I mean, like everybody, I hear a lot of pundits saying, like, Michigan, the play action pass is going to be huge because you need to fake out the defense thinking that you're going to run. And I'm over here like, man, Orji can't throw on the run.
Well, tell him to set his feet. You don't have to, just because you're rolling out to me, you have to throw it on the run.
Dude, if I could tell him to do that, then I totally would. Like I said, my application is in at Michigan right now.
I feel like that's the only way JJ threw the ball was on the run.
Seriously.
Yeah, really though. I feel like JJ was at his best when he was on the run.
He threw darts.
It was frustrating. Very, very elite at that.
Yeah, well, dude, every third down, man.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of the spite towards Michigan came out in my analysis. I do want to compliment Mason Graham for having a monster game, and Josiah Stewart. He was force. Dude. He was everywhere.
And Kenneth Grant, Kenneth Grant, my dude. When you pick up fumbles and somebody's about to strip it from you, go down.
Sure thing.
Take a knee, buddy.
Dude,
Jair Hill too.
In a weird way, I thought that gave USC momentum back, because they were, what was it, 3rd and 10, and Michigan, or was it about to be 3rd and 10? I think Michigan had just got to stop, and it was about to be like 3rd and goal or something like that.
Yeah.
And all the momentum was going Michigan's way. And then that fumble happens. They get it. They go back and recover, and then USC's got a fresh set of downs, a little bit of extra field, but a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 to run their offense.
Exactly.
That was a weird.
And that just breathed new life into their offense.
And sometimes for offenses like that, I mean, I'm as a Buckeye fan, I can attest for the last 3 years. Sometimes some teams don't want to go to the red zone. They rather be 30 yards out. They rather be there.
It's a different game between the 20s than it is in the red zone.
Yep. I'm just going to throw this out there because Mac, when you mentioned the Oregon game as a maybe. Right now, the FPI has it at 55-45. Oregon.
Over
Over Michigan.
No.
What about Indiana? What about Indiana?
They're giving them a 45% chance to beat Oregon?
Yeah.
They're at home.
Wow.
Yeah, granted, you're 4 weeks out, but I'm surprised that it's at that level right now.
I don't know. Maybe Oregon State's really bad.
Yeah.
Maybe Oregon State's really bad, and
Yeah.
Oregon is not actually as good as we think they are. Also, I think Pete, I interrupted you a minute ago. I don't know
you're
if
good.
you
That was basically my thought.
Okay. So great minds think alike then.
There we go.
I'm guessing that's what happened.
All right, guys. I think we're going to call it there because we are at 10:12, and actually we just ran out of games anyway. Very much appreciate all you guys being here. We're going to go out one at a time like we always do. Justin, since you're having the camera trouble, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. It just decided to give out on me. But yeah, you can find me over at Nebraska Football at the Voice of College Football. Again, tomorrow I'm doing a full film breakdown of the All-22 Illinois defense versus Nebraska O. I went and watched it today, broke it down. So that'll be on my live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. Again, if any Penn State fans want to come check that out to look at your foe. Also, Big Ten show. Cliff showed up on our live stream. It was my co-host is an Illinois fan, so we did a live watch party for that one. We're going to be doing games of the week and doing live watch parties for other Big Ten games. So get over to Big Ten show and subscribe if you want to see that. And then _H-Town Husker if you want to follow me on X. And you're going to get a bunch of different stuff there. So
when is your next live watch party?
So I think we're going to do one this weekend. We want to come up with a list of a few games and kind of probably take a vote of which one outside of our game times, which one people want us to watch. And we may start it this week. If not this week, next week.
Cool. Yeah. Everybody should watch that. It was a lot of fun watching the Illinois Nebraska one.
Yeah,
you guys did a great job at that.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. It was fun right until the overtime. Yeah. I got it.
I couldn't say what I wanted to say live on stream, but
real quick, Bama versus Georgia. Who you got?
Georgia.
Okay.
All right.
Roll Tide. Roll.
This guy.
That's what you.
I think the Georgia struggles versus Bama. Let them know, Garrison. No, I think the Georgia struggles continue. Even though Saban's gone, Bama just has Georgia's number, and they're in their head.
I feel like that Georgia struggle. I don't know. I think they're going to have a tough week in practice, and I think they're going to watch that film and they're going to figure it out.
That's fair analysis.
I hope they don't.
Me neither. I would love to see Georgia lose. Trust me. I don't like Georgia.
For the hilarity, yes, please.
All right. Justin, thanks again for being on. Always appreciate you being here. We will talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Take care.
Thanks, man.
Later, fellas.
See you, Justin.
Good night.
All right. Let's see. Pete, how about you go next?
Sure thing, yeah. So you can find us over here on Buckeyes Battle Cry. Rob and I love going live every Thursday night at 8:30 discussing the upcoming game slot. Of course, Georgia Bama, we're going to be breaking that down to the fullest extent. I have some theories on Georgia and culture issues I think are permeating the program. In my humble opinion, I think they take 2 losses in the regular season. I know that's controversial. That's a hot take, but I'm sticking with it. And I almost came right versus Kentucky. But anyway, we'll be breaking down this week's games on Thursday. And, of course, we're wrapping up the Big Ten games that were this past weekend on a video tomorrow. So, yeah, find us here on Buckeyes Battle Cry as well as on TikTok at Buckeyes Battle Cry and Buckeye Rob on TikTok as well for Rob. So,
yeah, and hope everything's going okay with Rob. Hope we'll see him again next week.
Absolutely. I'll let him know.
Right,
you guys have a good night.
Take care, Pete.
See ya.
Yep.
Whoops.
Oh,
sorry, Garrison. I don't know what happened there.
Time to go.
Cliff would never. That was definitely Mac.
Yeah, I would. I absolutely would.
All right, Garrison, give us the lowdown again.
Yeah, man. So you can find Bryce and myself at Scarlet Blue Show on X, Facebook, and Instagram. I should have said this earlier. On Friday nights, if you like, you can also find us on Michigan Sports Radio for South Christian Football, where Bryce and I call the games. I'm the color commentator. He's the play-by-play. You can find him on X at Bryce R. Sack and myself at Buckeye Gaddy. That is Daddy with a G. You gotta love saying it. You got Big Daddy Gaddy over here. You know?
Big Daddy Gaddy. How is that going? Calling the high school games?
Oh man, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Last week I was out for last week Friday, so I'll be back this week. But our friend Chad Hooksman stepped in and did a great job. But their South Christian Sailors are now 4-0, I believe. Number 1 team in Division 4, number 3 in the state, I believe. They are. Listen, man, they have a quarterback named Carson Viss. 2 weeks ago, the kid had 196 passing, 195 rushing. The week before that, had 400 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. Yeah. He's a better basketball player.
Wow.
Yeah. But, I mean, they have a tight end. Shut up. Blanking on his name. He's committed to Grand Valley State to play tight end. He's played wide receiver for us. Owen. I mean, they just have a lot of good players. Yeah, this will be. I think we've been to the state championship 3 of the last 4 years, won 2 of them, and this is another year for them. So
nice,
very cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's such a cool gig.
Oh man, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, like 2 weeks ago, my sister is the new athletic director at West Catholic High School, so
Yeah.
it was really cool to go see her there. My sister's probably she's a top 5 athlete to come out of South Christian. So
wow.
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
she's a freak, dude. She's a freak. But like, she was jumping 18 feet in long jump. But
18 feet.
yeah,
Wow.
started basketball freshman. Yeah, she's Miss Everything, Miss Universe. But all right, guys, good talking to you, gentlemen. You have a good night. I'm gonna go eat. I'm starving, and
All
my
right.
girlfriend was calling me. I'm blaming you guys. She hates me now. So
All right. Well,
all
tell
right,
her.
guys. Have a good night.
Thanks for
guys.
staying on. Really appreciate
too,
it.
man.
Take
Oh,
care,
I
man.
appreciate you guys. See ya.
Yep. Take
Thanks,
care.
man. See ya.
All right. Boom. Another good show.
Yeah, that was awesome. Good discussion there.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Justin's like, it sounds like we went from Michigan, Minnesota to a Michigan series game or Michigan season. discussion.
Season preview.
Yeah,
Yeah, we kind of did too.
we did.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we close it up then? We're since we're going late anyway. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. I did not happen to check to see if are we still hanging out at 945 subs?
Yeah, 945.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you everybody for subscribing. We really appreciate it. We're looking for that last 55 to get us over 1,000. We're hoping to do that by the end of the season. It's just fun. We're just excited to do it. We're excited to have everybody here watching us and hanging out in the chat. Really appreciate that. Don't forget to check out the teamrivalry.com website where you can actually plug in your picks for college football games right there. You can get on the leaderboard, and I keep forgetting to mention it on the show, but we actually we've got one guy, Keith Alum, who is actually picking games with us, and he's doing pretty well.
Nice. We actually got somebody signed
Yeah.
up. That's cool.
Yeah. Also, check out Michigan Football at the Voice of College Football. That's where we do our Point a Minute show, and that's also where you can catch John D'Adamo and his. Let's see, he does the Tuesday night show, and then TJ Ronan does the Thursday night call-in show. Great stuff there. Those guys are fantastic with regard to football knowledge. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Most importantly, come back next Monday night where we will be doing another live stream, hopefully with another win to celebrate for Michigan. And I think that's all I have to say. Mac, do you have anything to add?
No, I think we got it.
All right, we're good. Well, go Blue, everybody. Have a good evening and enjoy your week. Mac, take us out.
This is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.